the night and the Gemini crew. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia. The time right now is 8:43 p.m. You're listening to the Mike in the Night pre-show. The date today is the 21st of March, 2020. Oh yeah. Whether you're watching us from your box in the sky or your farm up north or out east, or off-gridding or bugging out, hidden to society and an unknown destination, or whether you're in your cabin in the woods. Sit back, relax, recline your chair, crack open some bottled water. Do not smoke, because it ain't good for you around this time. And tune in to Mike in the Night. All right, we got people here in the comments from Whitehorse, Yukon. We got people from everywhere. Vancouver. We got people from Australia. We got people from New Zealand. We got people from... I wonder where Low Roller's from. Is he from Texas? Kevin Tavares from Montreal. Like, it's like midnight there, watching Mike in the morning. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great show tonight. So, guys, before I kick anything off, I want to send my condolences to Kenny Rogers' family and Kenny Rogers for basically being such an amazing person. You know, all the years I've listening to him and watching his videos, and he's never ever had bad press. I don't know, maybe he has, but I've never seen anything bad about the guy. He's one of those kind of straight shoot 'em type guys, you know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite songs is I don't know, I like Islands in the Stream. I like that poker song, what's it called? Where he's talking about playing poker and cards in his hand, and yeah. But that's Kenny Rogers, man. May he rest in peace and find the light. Okay, guys. Anyways, lots happening, guys. There's so much happening. But before we start the show, there's David Zhu, who's in the comments, and he's been, messaging me on the side for a long time now. And I said, you know what, David? We're going to come on the show first and tell us your, the song's called The Gambler, by the way. And Lady, too. Lady was good, too. That was a good one too. Anyways, let's get him on the show. He's been wanting to talk for a bit. He says he doesn't have much to add. So we got Death Vortex in the house saying Z24 Mike, laugh out loud. Yes, I used to have a Z24. I think it was an 89 Z24. Maroon red. So we got 2003 Debo saying about to buy into the market. Low Roar Scratcher, Mike Martins. You got a guest on from Italy and Europe? I could find somebody from Italy. I got a guy from Russia. And, yeah. So let's get David on the show real quick. But before we kick off the night show...
Hello, Mike.
David, welcome to Mike in the Night pre-show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
All right, buddy. Tensions. How do you feel out there with what's going on? Are you in a big city?
Yeah, I'm from Toronto.
Okay. Are you feeling the tensions?
Yeah, definitely. Because with what's going on with social distancing, also like if you violate any sort of like rules regarding public gathering, yeah, you'll get fined for sure. Like I'm from Toronto, so that's pretty obvious. You can see from the news.
Have you prepared? Are you prepared?
Kind of, yeah. So.
Okay, so you kind of have prepared. What are you missing? Are you missing ammunition, or what are you low on?
I think, yeah, ammunition, guns, because I'm not sure what kind of guns that we're allowed to own in Canada, but yeah, ammunition. I got plenty of toilet paper, so that's
So you don't gotta worry too much with the toilet paper, right?
No.
Did you have to fight to get that toilet paper?
No, actually, I bought them like a long time ago, so it's not a big deal.
Well, good for you. See, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So, Toronto, are you noticing abandonment issues on the streets? Are you noticing, or is it just the same flow of traffic?
Definitely a drop in the traffic. So I'm not from downtown. I'm in the Scarborough area, so
okay.
Yeah, for sure. Traffic's died down, and I haven't ridden the TTC for a while, so I don't know too much about what's going on.
Okay.
Maybe guys like the McChronicle, he could tell you a bit more. But I think he's more focused.
I don't think McChronicle takes public transit. I think he drives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot dense now. It's with.
Have you noticed lineups at stores?
Haven't really visited the store that much because rules regarding social distancing. Actually yesterday outside one of the EB Games store, like people lined up for games like Animal Crossing. I don't even know what that game is, but apparently it's very popular among the young people. I used to play video games, yeah. And
okay, hold on.
I'm not like, yeah.
So you're saying that there's people lining outside of the EB Games, and
in Toronto, downtown Toronto,
and they're buying a video game that comes out?
Yeah, essentially, because they've been waiting for like months for that particular game. I'm like, for me, I like racing games. But I don't play that much nowadays. But it's not like I'm gonna go that crazy for a game. I mean, it's just a game. Do you not value your life over?
I know, and there's a lineup too for that. That's I'm hearing where you're coming from on this. Wow, I never thought any. Wow. Anyways, I got the woo meter out. All right. Okay. David, any last words?
Not much. Honestly, I think regarding with what's going on with COVID survey, so whatever you want to call it, I guess listen to your doctors regarding what to do when you get that. And also, I think I've talked to you. I've mentioned with you in the previous call that eating well, that's like the key to good health and a strong immune system. So avoid, I guess, acidic food, eat alkaline. I remember having conversation with Layla, and I asked her like, is she alkaline? And apparently she eats a lot of spinach for, I guess, iron, because really you don't need protein, you need iron. And I'm not a food expert, but I mean I can share with you as much as what I know about food. But I'm just scratching the surface here. And if you want to know more, I guess Google Dr. Sabi
No, we'll just have you on the
regarding.
show again and give us more
Uh,
information.
I don't know, cause
Okay,
the
well, you're
thing
gonna
is,
know.
though,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay. All right.
so,
So yeah, Dr. Sabi, he's no longer here, unfortunately, but he's not really a doctor. He's a herbalist from Honduras, and basically his story is that I think before the age of 30, he was feeling very sick, and because he was like eating meat and all those unhealthy foods. And not until he visited this herbalist from Mexico that he was able to heal himself
yeah.
through food. And I guess read his book, buy his book on Amazon, like
What's it called?
Alkaline. Just search Dr. Sabi and anything to do with alkaline diet.
Okay. Leave a link
If you
below. Leave a link below in the chat there so
link,
we can get to it.
I guess just go to Amazon. I don't know the specific link on it
All
to
right.
be honest, but
No problem.
yeah, Amazon. But yeah, I'm sharing with you as much as I know about eating healthy, even though we are pretty much surrounded by food that are high in fat and sugar
Garbage.
and
Bunch of garbage.
yeah, bunch of garbage, like bunch of processed food that's not good for you. It's not natural
Right.
because it's not. According to Dr. Sabi, it's not complete on a cellular level, so it's not electric food. So yeah, for sure, if you want to fight off COVID, avoid processing food. Don't eat meat. Avoid dairy. Avoid sugar, even though sugar is everywhere
It is.
in almost
It's in
everything that we
ketchup.
eat.
It's even in the
Yeah,
bread.
yeah. It's in like soup. It's in ham. It's everywhere. Like cut off sugar, cut off meat, cut off dairy. Um, get plenty of sunshine because that's where you get your vitamin, which is good for your immune system. So
All right. Okay, Dave, I gotta
I
let you
don't know.
go. We got Nanny
Okay,
14054.
okay.
And
Yeah, thank you for having me,
no,
Mike.
come back on again. We'll talk soon.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
That is David XU. David Xu. He's in the comments a lot. You'll see him. He's a little red race car there or an Indy car. Well, I wouldn't say a little car, but I'm saying it's an Indy car there as his little emoji there. All right, guys. It's almost 9 o'clock. Mike in the Night is kicking off the ketchup, bread, ham, soup. Everything's got sugar in it, man. Everything's made to sweeten to the touch. So we got Nanny down in who's going to be on the show later, saying that the Prime Minister or the Prime Hamster down in Australia is having a speech right now for the people. Today it's Sunday afternoon in Australia, so we're going to find out what the heck is going on. One day ahead of time from where we are today here. So let's go over to some news before we kick off tonight. Let's do a quick channel plug here, guys. Guys, Woo! Okay, guys, we got the channel. If you want to join right here. $1.99 a month. I don't think I'm getting anything from AdSense anymore. You could hit me up on PayPal if you want to send me a tip. And you could shop Mike Martin's. People have been buying stuff on here. I got so much cool stuff. So I want to thank everybody for coming on and supporting that way. And you could always send me show tips here. I'll give you my Facebook here. It's kind of funny, eh? They have all these verified pages, right? So I spoke to someone at Facebook asking if they could verify my page. It's like, I don't have enough people that like my page. I have 116,000. Right here, 116,000. And I'm seeing people with verified pages with 3,000 people following. Facebook's always been a crock of crap. I never really cared for what they think or what they, you know what I'm saying? And I'm also on Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on there, I'll give you my Instagram. You could also send me show tips there. And I'm also on Patreon. If you want to join the family on Patreon, go ahead and join. On Patreon, join the family. You could be a compra games, consigliere, underboss. Join the channel. All right, guys, that's a channel plug there for the hour. Let's get, yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock. Should we play the anthem again? Should I play the anthem or what? Oh, Mike Banks is in the house. One of our newest members to join the channel. That's why he's got a trophy. Mike Banks saying, good evening, sheeple. No, it's got to be sheeple, bud. Sheep doesn't work. Timothy says, what does it cost to buy you a coffee with 2 creams? $2.04. $2.05. And then we got the Raven in the house, of course. And we got Standing Mannequin, Feed the Sheep, Soil and Green. I don't know if anyone knows that Soil and Green are... It's people! You're going to hit 1,000 tonight? No, guys. Toby saying I'm going to hit 1,000? No. This is an underground meeting. First rule of Mike in the Night, you don't talk about Mike in the Night. Second rule, you don't talk about Mike in the Night. Third rule, if it's your first time watching Mike in the Night, you better call in. All right. It's almost 9 o'clock. We're going to play the song, the anthem for people that are joining us at 9 o'clock. I do a pre-show sometimes. Sometimes I go like 40 minutes early or an hour early for a pre-show, depending on what I got going on in the house. I've been spending a lot of time with the family lately, and it's been really good. It's been really good being with... I'm always with the family, but lately it's been really close. And I like it.
Gemini King, Mike in the Night, and the Gemini crew. Night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another girl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
All right. I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you may be watching this transmission. People sitting along the sidelines here watching us in the pre-show. I want to thank Timothy Kernuk sending me $2.05 for a coffee. Thank you so much. He's in the comments there. Guys, it is the 21st of March, 2020. Man, what a year it's been. So, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Got lots to talk about. So we got... Let's get Nanny down. Before we do that, let's get into a bit of news here. We got some interesting news coming up on the grapevine here. So let's get to... Where the heck is my news? Here we are. Let's just open that up here. Let's go over the COVID numbers here real quick, guys. We got the COVID numbers we need to go over real quick. So COVID total confirmed. This is who's been tested. So we don't know how many people are sitting out there sick as dogs, just not getting tested or just can't make it to a hospital. There's a lot. So we're looking at 307,277, 81,000. So China could go, forget about China. They're not even, okay. So let's look at Italy, 53,000. Now, Italy now, we're going to have to push aside, and we're going to stop following Italy. As much as I want to, I really want to follow Italy, but unfortunately, they've stopped reporting their dead. They stopped 2 days ago, or a day and a half ago, reporting their dead. They're no longer counting who dies with this anymore. And I knew this was going to happen. Eventually, this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. So it really hasn't moved anymore. So it's even though they're getting military trucks in there to pick up coffins and bodies, and the amounts of bodies they're picking up is just astronomical, just beyond what you could imagine. So in the United States now ranks third. 26,574. So here it is. You got, United States. We got 340 deaths, 176 recovered. So the highest concentration of deaths is in Washington State. Washington State is like Vancouver, Canada. It's very Chinese oriented, like lots of oriented. No, but lots of Chinese live in, it's like Vancouver, in Washington State. And then you have New York, 76 deaths. California, 27 deaths. 20 deaths in Georgia. Louisiana, 20. 16 deaths in New Jersey. We got our friend here in ATL, Georgia, messaging me, hey, Mike, watching in Atlanta. So there's a couple of people watching us in Atlanta. Sam's Clubs, Costco's, going absolutely off the hook, man. I'll make a video and send it to you on Skype ASAP. Yeah, please do that. Let us know what's going on in downtown or outside of Atlanta, in Georgia. Spain coming in fourth. And then Germany. You notice how all the countries that are really close to each other, all the way. Where's Lusitania here? Portugal. Portugal's the end of Europe. So we got Lusitania. Where are you, Portugal? Could have sworn I saw it up here. There it is. 1,280. So that's the end of Europe. So you're going to see the numbers get smaller the further towards the ocean you get. That ocean in front of Portugal is called, for those that don't know, it's called Lusitania. That ocean right there, all the way up. So the further you go towards Italy, the higher the numbers get, right? So there's Portugal, then you go to Spain, right? Then Germany, then Italy. So the further east you go, it gets worse because it's moving this way. And I said we are 2 weeks and 2 days away from having an Italy in America, an Italy type scenario. We're 2 weeks and 2 days away. Yesterday was 2 days and 2 weeks and 3 days away, I was mentioning on my show. All right. Wanted to throw that out there. So I hope you guys are preparing for this. Everyone needs to remain calm. People freaking out over toilet paper. I want to get a toilet paper warrior on the show. I want to get somebody on the show that fought for their toilet paper, tooth and knife. I want to get someone on the show that could tell us how to ninja in the toilet paper. And then forget about buying the food, so that when you need the actual food so you can clean your poop, you don't have any damn food. All right, let's go to some zero hedge stories here. Italy goes full Wuhan, orders on most restrictive lockdown yet as global case total passes 300,000. Live updates. In a sweeping power grab, the Department of Justice seeks ability to detain people indefinitely without a trial. Made in China pandemic, only reducing China's global economic influence, bringing down the pharmaceutical sector. Can the world be kept safe from the country's political pathogens? As COVID-19 drives people into isolation, Wall Street's new virtual workplace may become the norm. COVID-19 has exposed our financial fragility. It's Italian. Fragili. Fragili is Italian. U.S. automakers beg for tax cuts and delays implementing USMCA amidst economic shock. Why is CrowdStrike confused on 11 key details about the DNC hack? Stay indoors or risk a year in prison. Jordan blows sirens at the start of the virus lockdown. So that's in Jordan, guys. The Fed is a one-trick pony. Biden plans the fireside corona chats too simple at Trump's virus response. I don't think this guy knows if he's tricking or treating, to be honest. I don't think he knows what the heck is going on around him. COVID-19 evidence over hysteria. Oh, we know that. We don't need evidence on hysteria. We know that, right? Couple of states on lockdown. So we got from Politico here, Department of Justice seeks new emergency powers amid coronavirus pandemic. One of the requests by Congress would allow the department to petition a judge to indefinitely detain someone during an emergency. The Justice Department has quietly asked Congress for the ability to ask chief judges to detain people indefinitely without trial during emergencies, part of a push from the new powers that come as the COVID spreads through the United States of America. Documents reviewed by Politico detail the department's request to lawmakers to host a host of topics, including the statute of limitations, asylum, and the way court hearings are conducted. So this might change the way court hearings are conducted in the United States now and forever. I don't know how, like when they introduced specific taxes here in Canada, it was going to be temporary until we paid our debt down, and 35 years later, those taxes are still implemented. The temporary law that was put into place. All right. Comments are on fire here. We got Steven Sewell, in the house. Metal World in the house. Real Truth in the house. Lord Humongous, of course, in the house. Lenny the Pooh in the house. Ben Savage. So Mike Banks saying, I think nobody has any freaking idea what the frick to freaking happen. Yeah. Lots have gone down to business. That's correct. Lots have gone out of business. That's what's that. And we got the Raven in the comments says that he knows what's happening. Woo! One guy that knows what's happening, guys. Don't forget to check this guy out. He comes on the show once in a while. If you guys get some time, check him out. He's got a pretty good channel. His name is Walking Journey, and he actually made a video. Let's see if it's here. It's like this third or fourth video. He made a great video. Basically discussing right here, urgent message to everybody. He discusses in this message how this virus was put in place purposely. That it's not really really as bad as it seems, but the media is making it as bad as it seems, and they're doing this to take down Trump's strong, powerful economy and to take down what Donald Trump built. And he's pretty upset about that. So he's saying that this is like the Zika virus, like every other virus that has been known to man, basically. Every virus that has been known, that has been, I guess, overblown or blown out of proportion in the last 2 decades. So he basically is telling people not to worry and that it's going to be business as usual, right? So he's got a few videos here. Time to panic. We're all going to die. so time is running out. But in the videos, he actually discusses the framework that goes behind a lot of this stuff on how. Timothy is saying the walking journey is before his time, a forward thinker. That's correct. Yeah, the walking journey has been talking about upcoming presidential elections on his channel for years. And he's been bang on almost every time he's been bang on. He hasn't been wrong about almost anything. He's been bang on. Now, I hope to God, my hand to God, that this man is right. I really hope this is all another one of those, whatever you want to call them, false flags. I hope he's right. I honestly hope he's right about this. Right? So Nelson Pacheco is saying 3-hour line at Costco in Mississauga, only letting in 25 shoppers at a time in the store. Man. All right, let's move on, guys. All right, don't forget to join the channel. Let me refresh this. And it tells me that I'm live. Let's see. Come on, baby. There she is. Okay. Let's go back to what we're talking about here. Let's go back to some of these stories before we get another caller in. So we had David XU on the show before we kicked off the pre-show. He was on. And let's go back here. So Department of Justice now is sneaking in powers. And Rolling Stone. No, I don't need messages from Rolling Stone. Department of Justice wants to suspend certain constitutional rights during COVID emergency. So could this be the front of pretty much implementing political brute force or political ways to change the Constitution? Or are they really doing this because something really is happening? I wholeheartedly believe that something really big is happening right now. And because we haven't gotten the brunt of it, we are 2 weeks and 2 days away from the brunt. It's going to hit Portugal. It's going to hit Portugal hard. So if you look at this map, like I said earlier, you see it starts in Portugal and it moves its way east. So Portugal, then you got Spain, then you got France, then you got Italy. So it's moving from Italy this way to Lusitania, to the the Atlantic there. The Lusitania Ocean there. Once it hits Portugal, and then you give it about, because we're looking at time-wise, incubated in people, right? I'm not saying it's going to cross the ocean to America. It's already in America. I'm saying the people that have it in them, it starts to catch up over time. So I've been seeing this pattern, following it really closely. So by the time a week and 4 days is up, you're going to see Portugal way up there with cases. And then you're going to start to see America really. Portugal's got 10 million people. So you're going to see 350 million people in the U.S. Could it be that because of what's happening, these guys need to put these measures in? Are they doing this because you guys are getting me? Is there something really happening, right? Who exactly is contracting COVID? So let's find out who it is exactly. So the age range doesn't change. It's the same. So these are COVID cases. 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. The highest is, believe it or not, 50 to 59 are the highest level that are catching it. Is it people in a higher age range more susceptible to catch it the older you get? Or are people at 50 to 59, could they spread the virus more? Are they more contagious? Papa Pissed sent me money for coffee. Yeah, man, you're the man. Papa Pissed, just join the channel for $2 a month. You keep sending me super chats. Just join the channel. McChronicle, check out my Twitter mic video of army tanks going for Miami by rail. Sure, I'll get our girl in from Miami right now. I'll get her on the phone after we get Nanny on the phone. No, McChronicle, I don't have Twitter. Twitter's only for, famous people. So that's that. Here, let's type in BC orders closures of salons, spas, personal services as provincial COVID death toll rises. Then we got BC announces 77 new COVID cases, 19 in the interior. I'm in the interior, guys, but I haven't left my house in 2 days. I really don't care. I shut down my eBay store. My store is shut down. I only leave the house to go check on my store. I wipe the handles down on my door before I open it. I disinfect everything. I go in. I give it a walkthrough. Make sure the alarm, everything's good. The cameras are good. I don't care. I just go in, check it out, and walk out. Italian hospitals overwhelmed with COVID-19 infected patients. So right now, they've been actually putting patients outside. And it's been really bad. So here you go, guys. There's a little bit of it's scary, man, what's happening in these so they got ventilators, they got people sucking in as much oxygen as possible. Man. Oh, COVID-19 patient recorded a video from ICU asking others to learn from her. This is actually a pretty big video here.
Anyone? If anyone is thinking of taking any chances, just take a look at me. I'm in the intensive care unit. I can't breathe without this. They've had to sew that into my artery. I'm actually 10 times better right now than what I was before. I don't even know. I've lost count of the days. If anyone still smokes, put the cigarettes down, because I'm telling you now, you need... And please, none of you take any chances. I mean it, because if it gets really bad, then you're going to end up here.
So that's pretty intense coming from a patient in the hospital, giving her a little insight on what is happening. Adam A is saying it's fake. We got a lot of people saying in the comments it's fake. And let's get her on here. My girl Nanny is a correspondent for the Mike of the Night out in Australia. So let me find here. Why can't I ever find her? Here she is. Let me give her a call. She's saying that her president or her prime minister there in Australia is giving a speech right now. So let's give her a call. Well, she ain't answering the phone. No biggie, no biggie. Hopefully she'll pick up. So we got time to build the home gym, guys. Michael saying pre-existing. It could be something pre-existing. Reno Kings saying 800 people died in Italy in 24 hours. I know Reno Kings probably has ties or knows people in Italy that could tell him, you know, so it's not like we just got out of bedrock from the Flintstones. We actually have ties to people in other countries that we can message in a heartbeat that could tell us something, right? And the problem is a majority of the cases that have come out or things that have come out that the media is forced to cover is people sending their viral videos all over the place. People kind of getting out there and telling people what's going on or getting messages out, right? So So that's the deal. That's what we need. Like, I mean, if it wasn't for social media, I think they would have kept this thing under wraps, in my opinion. I think they would have did a good job to quiet it down as much as possible. But because everyone has a phone, because everybody has a phone in their back pocket, guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to be live at any time. Okay, we're going to get 26 Gunter in. He's going to give us an update. Hopefully he's watching. He's in Wisconsin, so the time difference is like midnight there. So let's give him a call. Let's wake the guy up.
Hey, Mike, let me switch my audio around 1 sec.
Sure. So guys, this is 26 Gunter, who is in Wisconsin, and let's open up the Wisconsin map here. Let's just, you know what, you go on Google now, just type in COVID Wisconsin, and you got a million stories. Watch this. Here it is.
All right, how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thanks for coming on the show. You are in Wisconsin. And
yep, southern Wisconsin.
Yeah, we got a ton of... You look this up, it comes up with hundreds of stories in the news. So what is going on down there? What is going on? What is going on? Tell us. You've been keeping us up to date every week.
Not too much. We're at 295 cases, 4 deaths. The 4 deaths have been all older males, 50 plus. They got bars and restaurants closed. I work part-time at a fast food restaurant. I was going to school. We're still running. We just don't allow people in to dine in. We do takeout. Like yesterday night, we had a huge line of cars lined up for our drive-through, people coming to eat. Everybody joked in the kitchen that it was because, the reason why everybody was coming there to eat was because there's no food in the grocery stores. But I just went to the store today and it was fairly well stocked. You still had a few things like wiped out, like boxed rice or something. You'll have somebody come through and probably buy up most of it. But yeah, I've heard about mass quarantine coming. In fact, the National Guard had just put something out, or the top general, the National Guard Bureau, didn't want to have the National Guard federalized because it'd be too expensive. He just said let the states individually call up their units. But I have heard that there is a lockdown coming, that the federal government is getting ready to put the army out. I don't know when. I have a feeling that it's going to be after they send everybody their little $1,000 stimulus checks or whatever, so that way they'll give everybody a week to go to the grocery stores, wipe everything out, and then they'll quarantine everybody for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long they set it.
We got the Department of Justice going in there, basically trying to change things around and ratify, not trying to ratify or put a pause on the Constitution to arrest people without any...
Yeah, I just saw that today, how they want to be able to indefinitely detain people. And, of course, can't let a good crisis go to waste. They're always looking to expand power, and people will let it happen. They're putting criminals out on the streets. It's just another way to cause more chaos and
so
hurt
what do you see,
law-abiding Americans.
Last time I spoke to you, you said you were stocked up, you're good to go, and
yeah, I'm fairly well stocked up. I could go for a month in quarantine.
Okay,
I'm probably gonna keep making runs. Every time I go to the store, I buy extra. I'll buy a little extra.
And you're stocked up on toilet paper?
Oh yeah.
Woo! As long as you got the food to use the toilet paper later, it kind of makes sense, right?
I probably have like 2 years worth of toilet paper just for myself, but I live with family, so we probably have a year's worth between all 6 of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And okay, so You got how many cases in your state?
295. The CDC just flew in not too long ago, and they're looking at community spread. There's 5 cases in my county and 49 in the county south of me where the state capital is. And my little brother used to live down there, and him and a bunch of his friends just went on a trip to South Dakota and came back. My mom told him that he can't come to the house. He needs to go quarantine himself. Well, he's going to be staying with his girlfriend, who's a nurse. Several of his friends work in the healthcare industry. So no telling us how many of them are actually infected.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, well, I guess it's civil still. Everything seems civil. There's no panic. Everything looks okay in your end?
Yeah, it's kind of have this weird aura in the air, especially when it's raining. It kind of have this unnerving calm because there's not really. Today it was a nice day, nice and sunny. People were out walking their dogs. There's no actual quarantine. They're just suggesting people stay home.
Yeah. So you think martial law is just a few days away or a week away if they impose martial law?
I think it's several weeks to a month out. They're going to try and let the economy, drag on. They're slowly shutting everything down. I think the plan is to bring the stimulus package out, give people checks so that way they can go spend that money. Try and pump up the stock market a little bit, leave everything on a quote unquote good note, and then they're going to close everything down, start the quarantine, and then after several weeks reopen it to the high, and then be like, look, everything's fine. Start spending money, start investing, get back to work.
Okay. All right.
But this whole thing is just covering, like what the DOJ is trying to do, take more power. That's one thing people need to be looking out for. I've heard their tech companies are starting more censorship for certain things. Mm-hmm. And of course, they're at a state level, at least. There are gun grabs happening at state and local levels. Right. And Trump and Pence are both in favor of red flag laws. So that's one thing we're constantly looking out for is the gun grabs, and it's coming. People don't think it is, but it's coming.
Right. Okay. Any last words? Anything you want to share with us? Anything? Wait. Have you seen military traffic go by on trains, on highways? Any military traffic moving south?
No. That's one thing. I did a little time in the Army. I did 5 years. People always do.
5 years. Okay, that's quite a bit of time. Yeah.
People get caught up in that because the military is always moving equipment around. There's training centers all across the country. People, the units ship their own tanks and things over there by rail. But I would be more concerned if you start seeing Humvees and MRAPs on the street and not, tanks and other vehicles on the rail lines. Mm-hmm. Not unless there's a pending invasion coming. Of course, I'm pretty sure we're getting close to World War III. So we know China allowed this to spread, and that's going to be a justification for maybe potential military action.
Mm-hmm. Canada's not going to invade, right? I'm being sarcastic.
Well,
I don't think
China might invade British Columbia, and the Russians will come from the north, but...
Right, if that happens. Well, yeah, that's a big thought-out strategy there, but yeah. Wow. Okay. All right, 26. Gunter, keep us on the pulse. Let us know what's going on in your state. I hope this plateaus next time we have you on the phone. I hope next time we talk, you're not telling me there's over 1,000 cases in your state.
Oh, that'll probably be likely. That'll probably be likely. I might just be having to stay home. So they might have, they might finally close down restaurants for good. Like, hey, everybody just start staying home. Kind of like what's going on in California. So,
yeah, California governor just said stay the F home, basically.
Yep. It's slowly coming. I've been telling people to get ready, but you have you have people who don't take it seriously at all. They're like, oh, it'll just blow over in a few weeks.
Yeah.
It'll just blow over. You have the
saying
people
it's like
who
the Zika, the swine flu, and they get 3 weeks. Everyone's going to forget about this.
Yeah. You have people who are kind of moderately concerned, but they're not concerned about really stocking up on food and that, like for something serious, having more than like a couple weeks worth of canned food or something. And then you have people like us who take it really serious and be like, there are bigger things than just the virus happening. So you might want to have more than just a couple weeks worth of food, and you might want to have ammo,
well, the
guns.
economy crashing on its own is civil unrest on the streets.
Well, it's kind of a two-pronged sword. They're, like the McChronicle was saying,
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter of this year, we were looking like we're going to be hitting a recession.
Oh,
This
yeah.
with the virus.
We've been in a recession for the last 2.5, 3 years. Canada's been in a recession for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
The Canadian wages haven't been running our economies. It's been foreign money we keep pumping into our systems that's been running our economies.
The beautiful thing about the virus is that it allows for massive deflation of equities, and probably real estate and other things. Within a short time frame, they're able to condense, all of the deflation that would happen over, several months to a year, 2 years from a depression, condense it without having to and get a lot of unemployment in just a few months, and then afterwards they'll continue printing money. Equities will start inflating again. People will start going back to work, and then they'll bring in negative interest rates to try and prevent people from holding cash, and then you'll finally see digital currency. An uneducated economist did a video recently on that, how he feels like digital currency is right around the corner, and on the Federal Reserve website, the FedNow system is supposed to be coming online between 2023 2024. So now we might see some kind of blowback from this. Certain industries are going to be affected. The economy always works. Things always work in waves.
Off, way before. I'm talking about 7-8 months ago. We were talking here on the channel about digital currencies and basically cash grab and going digital and then going to negative. This is not the first time. We've been talking about this on the channel for a long time now, right? And a lot of people were laughing at me, telling me I was a conspiracy theorist, and a lot of people forget about what happened in Greece and Cyprus, right?
Yep.
So, and then there's going to be bail-ins, and there's going to be, it's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, And
my only thing with the bail-ins is will it actually affect everybody? Like, are they going to worry about taking a little percentage from me? I don't really have much in the bank. More of my money is in gold and silver.
Right.
I got $4,000 sitting in the bank. Are they going to take 10%? Is that really? If they take 10% from everybody in my kind of income range, is that really going to affect anything? I think everything more so is targeted to getting, like the small business owners, the medium-sized corporations, multimillionaires who aren't necessarily in the know. Not somebody like Bill Gates who's in the know of things going on. It's to finally destroy that kind of upper middle class, lower upper class group of people.
Yeah.
Because the true middle class and working class is all kind of the same thing. It's just working poor now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're up to their eyeballs with that.
Yeah, we've been calling that working poor here since I did my first trends in the housing market 4.5 years ago when I kicked off the show. Middle class has disappeared. I think this was in 2006. Yeah, 2005. The working poor class, the Canadian, the new Canadian, or the new Commonwealth strategy, and that's it. We're done.
Yep.
So no more money coming into the countries. No more foreign money coming into the countries. And it's kind of funny how this originated in China and it brought the brakes on foreign investing. It's kind of funny how it all kind of fell into place towards the end. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, I keep saying everything starts in China and ends in the U.S. the U.S. with the U.S. being seen as the last bastion of freedom. That's why I don't see the virus as just an accident. I think that earthquake, just reporting that, I think that's just more disinformation.
Yeah.
China, I understand the whole face before truth argument of, East Asian people, but just on the fact that they knew what was happening back in early November, were silencing doctors, and that they allowed people to travel, makes them culpable, even if it was an accident.
Yeah.
Even if you had a failure in, say, a biolab or something, containment failure. And then on the United States end, the president allowed it to spread, kept saying it's just the flu, kept everything going.
The Canadian Prime Minister was saying, there's nothing to worry about, no panic. And they were all they were doing in Canada up until like a week ago, they were just handing out flyers to people arriving from those hot zones.
Now, to take it one step further, maybe ponder about this, is that it's not a bioweapon at all. That this is just a mutated strain of, MERS/SARS, and now they're actually, massively testing people. Now they're saying all these elderly people are dying from pneumonia caused by COVID-19. Just something to ponder about. I don't actually think that's the case. I think they're right about it. This is a genetically modified strain of SARS.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Gunter, we're gonna let you go. Thank you for your input on what you think on what's happening, or how you feel, and your point of view there from where you are in Wisconsin. Keep your finger on the pulse for us. Let us know what's going on the ground, and thank you so much.
Will do. If you don't hear from me, it's probably because they threw me in jail. So
I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. You have a good one, Mike.
Take care, brother. So that's our man 26 Gunter in Wisconsin, who basically is bringing us a lot of feedback on what's happening here. We got, I'm not sure who he is on Skype. Okay, we got a lot of people here messaging me. Wow. We got someone sending me something from Germany now. Hold on. Get this from a friend in Germany today. I don't know if this is regular or move COVID. Oh, here we go. Satellite's calling in. Hello, Satellite.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. This is Atomic. What's your name in the comments there?
Oh yeah, Atomized Asteroid.
Atomized Asteroid. Yeah, he said he wanted to call in. I was trying to find him here on Skype. So
yeah,
what do you got? You said you have a theory you want to run by us. What is it, buddy?
Yeah. So this is the theory that I've been sort of working on. Have you guys noticed? Mention in the chat. Go for it. Have you guys noticed that there's a kind of like a worldwide lexicon to all of this? That all the different countries are using the same wording on the news for different things. So, for example, they call it community hour at the shops. They say flatten the curve everywhere. Like the different things that they're doing to slow down the virus or to lock us down, they use the same word on all the mainstream media. It's almost like a script.
Okay, so you think there's a more global... Well, what if it's just more of an globally organized thing? What if it's more of a globally organized way of being formal about it, so there's no miscommunication between countries?
Well, that is a possibility, but that could also be part of the design, I guess. If you're going to say that they're working together, true, it could be that they're working together and there's just move along, nothing to see here. Or what if it's like they are working together because it is coming from the global elites. I suppose that's a possibility.
Right? You sure? Nothing's impossible.
Oh no, of course. It's only a theory. It's just I've noticed it, and it's kind of just bothered me a little bit that that's happening because I don't usually see that. I mean, when something is happening like that, you don't usually see all of them say the same words. I mean, we do know that there are those videos on YouTube of mainstream media all using the same buzzwords, like that time when they were saying that, they were taking the spring out of the Easter Bunny's step. I think that was like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those videos?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I'm getting at.
So are you feeling like it's like, I don't know how to say it, like the whole, we've been talking about on the channel for years on Mike in the Night. Do you see it as more of the mark of the beast coming in? The New World organization, New World Order, not the law of the jungle, but an organized world. Remember Bush, George Walker Bush Sr. at the UN or one of the meetings there, saying basically we need a new world order, a world with order, and not the law of the jungle, but the law of the land, a world order. Do you think that's what they're trying to implement? Do they need to go this far to implement a new world order?
It maybe. It wasn't it. What's his Soros when he said that everything that could have gone wrong has, as far as them getting their Agenda 21. Maybe this is their last desperate ditch effort to get this all done in a very short time. I mean, I think Raven said there's like 70 something things that need to be done by the end of the year. They're just desperately trying to move fast, but I think that they're moving too fast and they're red pilling too many people because, people have gone back to protest in some countries. I think Hong Kong is back on the streets. So, you're going to have where people are scared and then the fear is going to turn to anger and they might be pushing too fast and anger is going to come. I think that's a good theory that I've seen that on a YouTube video that he reckons that the fear is going to turn to anger in short order in the States because
that's why they're going to get the military in there to have a martial law take place.
Exactly, but it's not just the U.S.
Well, Canada doesn't have an army, so what is Canada going to do?
You guys do have a military. Oh, I thought you did. I mean, my mum just told me today that one of her friends drove back from Canada last week, and that they videoed and showed her on from the video on the phone that there was military movements entering Canada. They were going towards Canada, trucks and APCs and stuff driving, and so that's the first I can say that I've heard of military movements in Australia, although I did find it odd that American Black Hawk helicopters flew over my house not long ago. I thought that was weird. So, I don't know.
But you are, what part of, okay, you're just, where are you? Tell everybody where you are in Australia.
I'm in New South Wales, about an hour out of Sydney. Probably won't get more specific, I suppose.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
It's a popular area. I'm not too far from Canada. Oh God, I just said it earlier. The capital of Australia.
Yeah, Canberra.
Canberra, yeah, that's it.
Canberra.
So there was some military moving into Canberra. So I mean, okay. I mean, if they need to secure the capital, or this is what's weird. Like, why is there so much military movement? It can't just be martial law. I feel like, or at least I'm worried, that this might be something a lot bigger, like some kind of war, possibly.
Okay.
I mean, I'm worried because the rhetoric coming out of Russia and China and Iran the last couple of weeks has been ramping up. And I mean, Trump isn't having any of it. He's just throwing it back, calling it the Chinese virus and et cetera, right? I feel like the virus, if it was on purpose, well, it kind of backfired. If America's the one that released it, it kind of backfired because now we're looking at a lot of dead Americans going to be soon. But I'm just sort of thinking that, there might be some war coming if these tensions. Look, okay, I'll put it this way because I'm kind of confused with my thoughts on this. But if they think that America did this, then it would be a huge, in their eyes, like in the Russians and the Chinese eyes, it would be a huge act of war to release a virus that kills tens or hundreds of millions of their citizens, right?
Right.
So they wouldn't just let that go. If they're going to be telling their citizens that the Americans did this to them, then the citizens are going to be outraged and they're going to want revenge. So war would be around the corner, I would assume. And maybe they know it. And that's what all this martial law is about, because they don't know where they're going to strike, so they're putting military everywhere. I mean, I watched a video from Max Egan. He's the Crow House on YouTube.
Sure.
You should all be watching him too. He's a fantastic Aussie guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a video pointing out that America moved an extra 200,000 troops into Europe.
Yes, yeah. If you go to our... Watch this. If you go to our community, here, and you go down a few... Aha. Now, there was two little things I posted the other day. First question was, is Russia broke? Second question was, I have a bad feeling hot war will break out in Eastern Europe very soon. And yes, I know about the troop movements right now in Eastern Europe and Eastern Poland and Eastern NATO states. I know about that. I've been informed with a lot of cell phone video footage that have been sent to me. Yeah,
I was also watching Montagraph. Mm-hmm. I had him live, and I just threw him a $5 for ice cream. He seems to love ice cream, apparently. And I asked him, like, what do you know about the troop movements? And basically what he said, he was not sure yet exactly what's going on, but he has been putting phone calls out, and he'll update everyone soon. So I'm going to make it a point to watch his following live streams.
Please,
and as soon as I know,
relay the information to us here, for sure.
Yeah. You guys will be the first I'll relay it to. Sure. As soon as when Montagraph, if he finds anything, the troop movement thing, it's global. It's global, and it's very concerning.
You know what I see it as, and I've been, we've been saying this again for lots of times, is a big chessboard, pieces moving everywhere, ready to, you know what I'm saying? The chessboard's moving around. You got all the biblical apocalyptic four horsemen. You got pestilence. You got famine, you got locusts, you got disease, you got plague, you got everything. All we're missing is hot war, and then that's it. That just seals the apocalyptic. Remember I said at the beginning of the year, because the second week of January was just getting so bad through the year, I said I was going to make a t-shirt called I Survived 2020?
Yeah, I remember,
Look at it now. This is the worst year on history, I think, since... I don't know, man. I don't even know if I don't even know if there's a year this bad that within our living years. I'm saying that we could say it's anywhere near it.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking. I wish I was born in a different time frame, but then again, I wonder. Actually, I think most generations go through some pretty hectic stuff. So, I mean, if I was born earlier, well, it would have been World War II, and before that, there was World War I and the Spanish flu, and there's been in the last 100 years plenty of recessions, and I think a couple of depressions, at least in South America. I know there was one major one there. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the Americans invaded into South America, like Uruguay and Argentina. They had all that turmoil.
Yeah, that's right.
And they used to, like I think a whole generation of Uruguayans don't even have birth certificates because they were burning down the churches. Right. And the mothers, to this day still visit the beach hoping that their son and daughter might wash up so they can bury them. Like, it's sad stuff, What these globalists put us through is so bad that I'm not going to say exactly because it's, YouTube, but I think you get the idea. I want a lot of pain for those types of people. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with doing this to us.
No. All right, any final words?
No, that's it. I think I'll let it go. You probably got plenty more callers. And shout out to 3RG and Raven. You guys are entertaining in the chat.
Woo!
All right. Bye.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Keep us up to date, eh?
Will do.
All right. God bless you.
Bye for now.
All right. So that is that. Now, let's get our girl Nanny in right now, and she is following a speech.
Hello, Mike.
Oh, hi. Thanks for coming back. So give us an update on what's going on.
Sorry, just one moment. Can you just call me again? I'm gonna answer your call on my phone because I don't have earphones for my laptop. I don't know if it's echoing. Is it echoing for you?
No, I don't hear nothing. No.
Oh, okay, so it's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good that you okay, give us an update. What's going on?
Okay, so there was a Prime Minister's speech just about an hour ago, and he was announcing they've been giving a lot of money now, putting money for a lot of businesses, small businesses and medium-sized businesses, giving them easier loans and grants, and also for the unemployed, the casual workers. Also, they announced for people to not go to like non-essential places. So, for example, cafes, hairdressers. So only go to the shops, only and also only workers. The only work that should be available is pretty much people working at the shop, supermarkets, and the hospitals, those type of essential things, not so much those cafes and recreational activities. There's the popular sport NRL, so the season is going to be cancelled.
Are you talking about rugby?
Yes, rugby.
Yeah, you got to mention that because a lot of people in the common, like outside of like in the States and Canada, yeah, rugby, yes.
Yeah, it's really big. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be quite outraged, and the rugby pretty much makes up like half of the television, like the national like broadcasting. There's always rugby news. So yeah, that's gonna be a big change. The problem was yesterday it was a really hot day,
right?
And even before that, like a few days ago, the government announced to ban. Well, it started off with a gathering of 500 people or more. That's banned, but then I think a couple of days ago it moved to 100 people as a gathering to be banned. And yesterday at Bondi Beach, there was literally they calculated, I think it was approximately 25,000 people gathered at the beach and in close contact. People were even caught kissing, and people having big picnics, eating out of the same food. Yeah, so the speech today, like by the Prime Minister, was literally saying that was really bad of us Australians to do that. The Australian people ignored the advice. So yeah,
But
schools are still open.
how do you stop 20,000 people from going to the beach? It makes no. It's like the last time or the last week or last 2 good weeks of good weather in Australia, because you guys are in fall season now. Your hours are going to change.
Yeah.
And how do you stop people from going to the beach the last time or the last barbecue?
Well, they called the police in to go gather people to get out. So they were off the
Would they
stand.
call the army?
25,000. It was the police. Yeah. So it was mostly an announcement as well to the people, like, we told you not to do this, and why are you doing this? So now they're going to implement the police to try and enforce it, because obviously people do not have common sense. Even yesterday I was driving to the cemetery, and I went past another beach. I won't say the name, but it's a beach kind of near Bondi. It's one of the beaches nearby, and even there the beach was crowded. Well, the people were on the grass, not on the actual sand, so because the police had probably moved them off. And I saw the police van was parked in the middle of the just the entrance of the beach, and I looked at all the restaurants and bars. It was just crowded, and people just don't care. Like, people in close contact. So that was really bad. And most of the people there are also backpackers. kind of like working holiday visa people, and also like some locals. Yeah, but Bondi's known to be like full of tourists and students and that sort of thing. So
That's scary. I want to thank Cody Z for joining the family, joining the channel and being part of the family. Thank you, Cody Z. Welcome to the family. So, okay, let me ask you, what's going on with university? I know they're still shut down. Are they converting a lot of the dorms into, like, bug out places or places for people to quarantine themselves?
not what I've heard. I'm not so sure if the other universities closed. I only, from when I last like checked, it was just UTS and my university. They made it online. I think maybe the other universities made it online, but they didn't announce it publicly. Like they sent individual emails to the students, maybe, because that's what my uni did. So I can see you put the image
Yeah. So
to get the views.
So where do you see things happening? Like, where do you see things going? Are things, in your opinion, going to get better, or are they going to get worse?
Definitely worse, because the flights were not stopped early, and also those big crowds of people not caring. I also want to say, like last week, it was on Thursday, I went to the shops during the day. So I went early in the morning at about 7 a.m. And when I was there, I forgot that was when the rule is for old people to enter the supermarket. So 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. So obviously the staff were outside the supermarket not letting us in. And I thought, okay, it's okay. I'll just go away. I'll come back later when it's time. And the supermarket during that time was pretty much empty. Like there was barely any old people. And then I came a bit later, and like after 8 a.m. and the whole day even, it was just full of old people. They were so rude, pushing in, acting rough, like,
really,
you know, out of all the times that, like, they didn't go in their designated time, like, they take up the rest of the time, they hold up the whole day, they're slowing people down by, like, just standing in the middle of the pathway and blocking people. Yeah, and even, it was quite shocking to even see, it was a weekday, there were quite a lot of kids at the shopping centres, and so their parents have taken them out of school because the schools are still open. Mm-hmm. And if, like, logically they think, okay, they want to protect their children from the virus, keep them at home, but they actually took them to the shopping centre, and they just let their kids cough on people. Like,
I heard about that. I heard about that, where they were taking kids and then putting them in shopping centres that weren't going to school.
But I even saw people holding their, like, babies. I don't know what it's called, like, holding them at the front. Like, standing in crowded queues. That's a really bad idea. Yeah. And the way the kids cough, especially, they all make that same sound, and they all poke their tongue out as they cough. It's like a bullet just coming straight. It's not even just a little So, yeah. It's really bad to impose on other people.
Okay. Anything else? What was your great leader telling us?
Oh, he was basically just talking about. Well, I think he did a good job in creating, like, getting all this money to arrange to give people who are unemployed or casual workers. I think he doubled the unemployment, like, benefit. Like the, what's it called? Like they get paid double now. I think it's an extra $510 or something per week, an extra on top of what they're already getting. So I think it was nearly. Let me just check this because I had a screenshot a little bit. Someone sent it to me. So, sorry. Income support payments and establishing new time-limited coronavirus supplement. Okay, to be paid at a rate of $550 per fortnight. This is for new recipients of the job seeker payment, youth allowance, job seeker, parenting payment, farm household allowance, and special benefit.
Okay.
This coronavirus supplement will be paid for the next 6 months. So, yeah, that's what the Prime Minister was saying. This is going to be for 6 months. So it's not going to be like if they close the schools, it's definitely going to be closed for 6 months.
Okay,
On
alright,
Tuesday,
hold
they're
up
going
one
to.
sec. If they're going to say it's going to be the next 6 months, why did China have this and get rid of it in 3 months? And they have the epicenter.
Yeah. Something I find quite interesting is Eurovision was cancelled, but then Yulin Dog Meat Festival is still on. It's going to start in about a month. Have you heard of it? Yulin Dog Meat Festival?
I know about the 320 festival.
Yulin Dog Meat, it's when they like slaughter dogs in China. And also like people get to pay to torture animals like cats, burning them alive and stuff.
What?
It's really horrible. Yeah. It's a really bad festival. I mean, it's up to you if you want to Google what goes on there. It's pretty disturbing.
What's the point of it? Just burning cats and torturing animals?
Well, some people like it for entertainment, but it's to eat dog meat.
Entertainment. If I want entertainment,
Yeah.
I go to a strip club or a casino, or I go to a bar or something.
Yeah. Not good. Okay. I've got some summary. Okay, so in the speech, so New South Wales to shut down all non-essential services over the next 48 hours. Okay, South Australia's borders will be closed from 4 p.m. Tuesday in the interest of public health. Okay, so Prime Minister said to avoid all non-essential domestic trips. So I think interstate, like going from Sydney to Melbourne or wherever around Australia, that's just all going to halt. Okay, so they put about 189 billion in the second financial package. That's 10% of the size of the Australian economy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yep. New South Wales has announced it has 533 confirmed cases. Victoria has 67 new cases, bringing the state total to 296. Queensland has 38 new cases, bringing state to 259. I heard yesterday, or was it the day before, that in Brisbane there was a 1-year-old that tested positive for coronavirus. And I think there's a 6-year-old in New South Wales, and obviously ages ago there was a 6-month-old baby in South Australia. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here. So on Tuesday, they will decide whether to, they're going to close the schools probably on Tuesday to make it official. Going on another tab here. Yeah, so everything's going to be shut down pretty much. I'm quite angry at how people behaved in Australia. Like, so many people just have that mentality that, because we're young.
We have it here in Vancouver, we have it in Toronto, we have it in London, we have it in Auckland. It's called oh god, what's it called again? Entitlement.
Yeah.
The entitled masses.
Also,
they're entitled to, I don't know what they're entitled to. Honestly, they're so entitled that I don't even know what they're entitled to anymore. And they walk around like the greatest thing that ever happened, and they talk to people like they think they should, and do what they want to do, and they're free, and that's great.
They don't care about others.
Nope.
Just like they do with their kids, they just let them cough on people.
That's right.
There were 5 cruise ships that were allowed to dock in Sydney.
Of course.
Were infected with coronavirus, which hundreds of staff allowed off today without being tested. Oh, sorry, that was from yesterday. The day on Friday, I went to go outside it was a quiet type of bay area, and it's right next to Sydney Airport, and I saw an Italian cargo ship go past, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah, hopefully.
Remember, a lot of support ships going to China, or China is offering a lot of ventilators and medical stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of putting one and just putting 2 and 2 together, I guess.
It's hard to believe the numbers. I'm just going to refresh the number count on how many is in Australia in total, because I read out the states.
This is who's been tested. Like, if the Pentagon was right, and the Pentagon is like, I don't know, where they get their intelligence from everywhere. If they're 30% right, and they're right about 30% of things, if this pathogen or this stays in you for 2 to 3 weeks without you knowing it and giving it to someone else, you know what I'm saying? This is a big deal because most of us already got it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm worried. Like my mum got tested, I think about a week ago, and she tested negative, thankfully.
Okay.
Because she just had general flu symptoms, and because she for her work reasons, they just made it, compulsory for her to test it, just for everyone's sake.
Well,
and
it's flu season in Australia this week. It kicks off this week anyway.
Yeah. I just really hope we don't get it within, the time, like until they make a vaccine and even make it available. That's going to be a while. Just thinking if 6 months is just going to be shut down, because these people gathered, everyone hasn't self-isolated, like people in Singapore and Hong Kong, the cases, and Taiwan as well, because they've had this type of thing before, like with SARS and swine flu, they're quite used to wearing masks. They're quite used to social isolating. So individuals being proactive, avoiding crowded areas, it meant that their cases aren't going as high. But because here, people are so stupid, they don't even listen when the government is saying not to gather. This is going to be longer. This is going to take much longer. Being 6 months, like with all businesses shut, it just would have been better just to have like a quick martial law just for like a month. That's better than like 6 months. Just everyone stay in their homes, don't come into contact with others. But people don't care. Like even when I was going past the beach yesterday, I was in the car, I wasn't near anyone. I just saw big groups everywhere, people eating chips out of the same little box thing, and they're sitting close. Like that I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's not going to make it easy. It's not going to make it, yeah, you're right. It's not going to make it easy. It's going to make it a lot harder, and it's going to take a lot more time for it to leave. It's just going to stick around, and it's just going to keep circulating around those that aren't infected, and just taking up more and more victims, or taking more and more people as it's going to make its rounds.
Really, the whole world should have just been so serious, because the thing is, even if one country, even if a place like Taiwan or like Singapore, they completely contain it, and then everyone in their country is cured from it, like they've all fought it off and there's like zero new growth of cases. But once they start opening the borders or whatever, that's just going to bring it in again, and because other countries aren't doing it, you know what I mean? So this is going to be a really long-term thing. I'm just looking at the numbers now. So in Australia, there's 1,286 cases. There was 214 new cases that was uploaded. 46 recovered. So there's 1,233 active cases. 2 of them are considered serious or critical. And there's 7 deaths in total.
So what do you think of the huge... I was going to ask you. No. I was going to ask you. Yeah, the huge... Did you see the spring break in Miami? Tens of thousands of people, too, in Miami Beach?
Oh, I think I saw a snippet just of like one guy being interviewed saying, "Oh, we don't care, we just want to party." That's the only part that I saw. Mm-hmm.
So that was happening down south. A bunch of people sent me messages with that. I had somebody earlier in the day send me a lot of military movement in South Dakota, and then someone else sent me footage of a lot of military movement in eastern Poland.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We got a lot of movement going on. Are you noticing more military? I know you sent us a photo of that military movement. Are you seeing more of it, or just has it calmed down?
Not yet. I do. There is a military like training base not too far, like in a suburb kind of near where I live. Maybe by next week, because things are moving really fast. So I think if people really are doing this thing again, like going to the beach and not listening, or people crowding at the shops or that sort of thing, I think the army needs to be involved. But I don't think there's enough enforcement.
They're going to
Yeah.
start this in the military. Do you think you'll see martial law in Australia soon?
Yeah, I think sometime in the future, if people lack common sense, if they're not going to do what's right, I don't believe in the whole conspiracy thing that the government, like specifically to Australia, I don't think the government wants martial law. They just they put it, they don't, it's not to their benefit. They wouldn't scheme anything like that. They just kind of want to get their nice big salaries and live their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not like too crazy over power, like in the sense like with China and all those other countries. Did you see that that video I sent you in France, in Paris? There was police trying to detain a woman or something, and then she's just purposely coughing in their face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That pissed
I'm
me
just
off.
I'm just looking through the Instagram, like what I've sent you as chats. I sent you a recent 2 footages of the hospital is in Spain. There's literally like lines of people lying down on the floor in the waiting room
Yeah,
in Spain.
I saw that one too. It's kind of the same patterns we saw in China. The same patterns. A month ago we were watching the same thing on the show here. The same patterns happening across. And I think it's, like I said, Italy is the epicenter in Europe, and it's going to move towards Portugal. And then once it hits Portugal, you're going to start to see it outbreak more in the U.S. because the people that had it in them longer or had it in their system are going to start showing signs later. And that's...
Portugal is just underneath Australia in terms of the rank of cases. So they have 1,280 cases and 12 deaths.
Well, Portugal's got 10 million people, right?
Yeah.
So
That's even smaller than Australia, like in terms of population and even geographically. I think it's a very small country.
yeah, it's the size of Florida.
Yeah, that's concerning. And even South America, like, well, a lot of people wouldn't be tested, I imagine, because it's a lot of people
To be tested.
You know.
Yeah, Africa too.
Yeah.
Africa's going to have that same...
Wow, Iceland, 473.
Yeah, Iceland's up there. Remember Iceland? We were following it in the show 3 weeks ago. 3.5 weeks ago. Remember, it was at one case?
Yeah.
One.
I don't even think it was 3 weeks ago. I felt like it was less than that. So quickly.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Give it time. America and Canada are exactly 2 weeks, 2 days away from their big fallout.
And also, it doesn't make sense how Italy has more deaths than China, and they have like nearly half the cases of China.
China, they're lying.
Yeah.
Just whatever numbers China gave us, let's just build we can't build a model around Italy, because one of the questions I wanted to ask you earlier, how do you feel about Italy not counting their dead anymore?
Yeah, it's just a big mess, and they even them having to pick who's going to get the medical treatment and who's not, like who's going to die, who's going to live, and they're saying the person is dying from the symptoms but not the actual virus, and it's just a big, like...
Autonomized asteroid saying, not confirmed yet, but this I heard, that the test is about $1,000, roughly $1,000.
Wow. There was some kits that were arrived in Australia, I think a few days ago. It was in the 5 figures. I can't remember the exact figure. So they can test more people. But it's not even just that. Like, there needs to be more and more testing kits, because if a person tests first and then they're negative and they're totally fine, they actually don't have the virus. But then in coming weeks, once it's spread and if there's no social distancing, they could get it, and then they need to be tested again, test positive.
Yeah, you need to get 3 negative cases in a row to, let's say your spouse, right, has it and you don't. So they test you 3 times to make sure you're negative 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So that's
It could take time. Right. I thought I saw somewhere like sunlight can kill the virus.
It definitely can. I spent the whole day outside in the sun cutting the grass.
Do you think it's worth, like, if buying fruit and stuff from the supermarket, just leaving it out in the sun? Like, that would kind of disinfect it. Well, also rinsing it, but, like, wouldn't that kind of disinfect it as well? So having to
disinfecting. Yeah, you could do that. You could use vinegar to disinfect your and then wash it well. That's fine.
Yeah.
Any last words?
No, that's all. I think I said everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, just keep
thanks,
sending me
Mike.
messages on Instagram and updates on videos and stuff, and we'll look at them. Okay.
How often do you have Mike in the night? I only remember the Saturday ones.
It's just Saturday. It's usually just Saturday, my Saturday night, which is your Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I do stuff during the week when I'm really bored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you self-quarantining like at home?
I've been home for 2 days. I haven't gone anywhere for 2 days.
Oh, okay. That's good. Like, at least you don't.
Go. We have karate. I teach my kids karate 4 times a week now. Then we do. I'm teaching my wife how to do weightlifting and stuff like that. And then we do.
That's awesome.
We play in the backyard. I was doing yard work today. We have you know what I'm saying? There's always stuff to do, right? So.
I think it's a really important time for parents to really bond with their children, because I find that with how the world has become, like the cost of living is so high, and there's always two parents working, and parents become like kind of strangers to their children.
Right.
And it's a really big taboo. Like, even a lot of Australians, they've been posting on social media, they're already sick of their kids, or they're finding it like really hard because it's the first time they're actually really being a parent. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so I think this is why the schools have been taking so long to close. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you have like lots of board games at your store, because if your internet goes down, at least you have something to do. Because I can't.
Board games. I got like 200 in my house.
Yeah, because I don't even want to buy anything online, because I don't want to go to the post office and wait in a queue and risk getting infected. I don't want to go into a bookstore, which is in the city, that would be crowded. I could risk getting contaminated, like being sick. And I don't want to go to a library to get books either, you know? So internet has been really slow. Even people I know...
Australia, the internet there sucked the whole time.
Well, because there's like a 40%, or like when I last checked, a lot more people are on the internet now. Everything's slower. So, yeah, hopefully it doesn't kind of cut off completely.
No, we're monitoring that too here on the show. Hopefully not everyone watches their stuff in 4K on Netflix.
Yeah. Sorry, I was rambling. I think you need other people to call in.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
That is Nanny, and I keep stealing her pictures off her Instagram. She gets pretty mad about that, but that's okay. She's got like 40 pictures on her Instagram. Anyways, okay, guys. Okay. It's getting warm in here. I got my window open too. I had to close the window halfway through the day because Buddy was mowing his grass when I was trying to make a video, and I had to stop and then re-record. Did a few videos today. Guys, a lot of channels are basically talking about, a couple of people come on the show. Guys, a lot of channels are talking about what we've been talking about here for a long time. And I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about the removal of cash, going into digital currencies, going into negative rates, going into I kind of picked up the conversation again and got stronger with it when Australia did that $10,000 cash ban. That was about 8 months ago, if you guys remember that. And we started going back on topic with it again because this is a big deal. And we talk about the housing market, the negative rates, blah, 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 mortgages, and foreign money laundering. We've been talking about this. Canada, Western United States, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australia's economies have been pumped up the last 2 to 2.5 years with foreign investing. Money coming into our shores and basically keeping our economies going is what it did. It kept the construction going, kept the building permits going, keeping everything going. Yes. I wanted to throw that because we've been talking about this. I know sometimes I go off topic with some things. rate cuts here, everything. We've been talking about this for a long time. So, guys, that's why I asked you guys to get more involved with the channel and find out what's going on, guys, because, you know, I'm not the best, but I kind of have a feeling of what's going on around us, right? I kind of have a little insight. I try to be careful how I say it. Guys, shoot me a tip on PayPal. Guys, don't forget to shop Mike Martins. Lots of stuff here for the Mike Martins channel, guys. If you want to pick, we got the humongous mug. We got the Raven mugs here. We got, let's get, I wonder if Lord Humongous could speak to us. I haven't, well, we spoke to him the other day, but I want to see if he's doing okay. Because I know, here's the humongous mug right here. Here it is. The Lord Humongous mug. What a beautiful mug. Gold and silver is real money. Let's see if he's... Lord, are you in the... Are you okay to talk for 3 minutes? Huh? Lord, are you okay to talk for 3 minutes, buddy? You got 3 minutes to talk to us? Then we could get the Raven on. We could get Supreme Cannon on. We could talk... Ah, here we go. Let's get Leon on real quick. He sent me an image here from Thailand. Let's see what he's got going on here. From Southeast Asia.
Hello.
Liam.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, I got some pictures here that you sent us from, looks like it's from Thailand.
Yeah. Just a quick picture. They were sanitizing the streets yesterday, but yeah, I don't know if you've seen the latest in Thailand.
Let me check right now. What's going on?
So it's pretty confusing actually because they haven't officially entered lockdown in the sense of closing the borders. But if you wanted to come into Thailand, you have to supply a health certificate. And that health certificate has to show and be signed by a doctor to say that you have had the test for COVID-19.
Oh.
And that you're all clear, and the certificate cannot be more than 72 hours old.
What? It takes 70 hours just to get to Thailand in some cases.
Wait, it gets even more crazy.
Okay.
So you need to take a test first to say that you don't have it, and then you need to take
another test when it's limited and they don't want to test everybody.
I know, but wait. So you need to take a test first. So let's say you want to go to Thailand. You need to take a test first, and then for 14 days you have to wait and take another test to say that for 14 days that you've been clear, and it's an official real COVID-19 test. So on top of that, you need insurance.
Insurance, continue, I'm listening.
$100,000.
How much?
If you don't have those two documents, $100,000.
Yeah, that's like $1 zillion in Thailand. Okay, continue.
If you don't have those documents, you will not be allowed to board the airplane.
Interesting.
So basically, they're locking the borders without officially saying they're locking the borders, right?
Right.
Because it's impossible to get those documents. So they know, I'm sure they're not that stupid, I'm sure they know it's impossible to get those documents. So rather than saying to the world we've closed the borders, because it affects the economy probably, just make it near enough impossible to get the papers.
Interesting. Very, very interesting update. Wow.
Air Asia has cancelled all flights as well. So I don't know if you've heard that. I think that was yesterday.
Okay. Continue.
Thai Airways has cancelled, I think, most of their flights. Bangkok Airways has cancelled, I think, nearly all. Pretty much every airline is cancelling all the flights.
Okay.
Pretty much all of the borders around Thailand, they're closing the land borders. I think they're leaving one open. So basically, the country's in lockdown. The shopping malls are closed in Bangkok. The only things that are open are supermarkets and pharmacies and things like that. Wow. So it's pretty much in lockdown.
Wow. Interesting. All right, anything else you want to add?
It's just pretty scary. It's getting scary now, right? I don't know how you feel. Okay. How are you coping?
Me? I'm just staying home. I have nothing. There's nothing for me to go out. There's nothing for me to do to go out. I just go and
I
check
mean,
my store is like 3 blocks away. Well, it's about a 3-minute drive from my house. I check on my store. And that's all I do. I don't go shopping. I don't do nothing. I just go to my store, wipe down the handle, take a look around inside. No one's been in there, but just making sure it's okay, and then move on.
but how are you coping mentally? Because I'm sure, like, you put in videos up every couple of hours, doesn't it? Doesn't it like mentally exhaust you continually searching?
It doesn't, because I've been putting up videos every couple of hours for the last 5 years. So I'm just used to this. I have my kids. My mom's here to talk to, and my wife, and we have a big backyard. Kids were on the trampoline today. I cut the grass. Today I had to cut the grass. It was so big in the back. And threw a bunch of fertilizer down this morning. So it's been good so far.
I think because you're in a small town and you're pretty much away from big populations, I think you're doing okay. But
I sit on my balcony, I look outside, and I see the mountains in the background, and beautiful big mountains too, not little hills. I mean, big mountains around me. I'm not worried, man. There's no pollution. The only pollution we get is from the sawmill, and it smells like chopped wood.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm in Bangkok right now, and I don't live in Bangkok, but Bangkok feels pretty crazy because you think it's a city of 10 or 11 million people, and 95% of people are wearing masks. It's hot, humid, sweaty. Everyone's telling you how bad it is. All the taxi drivers telling you how bad it is, and you just feel unsafe because everywhere you touch, there's an opportunity to catch it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. You got so many people. I stayed in Bangkok for 1 month, and then I stayed 3 weeks in Pattaya. I've been to that area. I've been to all of.
Oh, actually, I have some news about Pattaya.
What's going on?
So the government says that all bars have to shut down, right?
Right.
So you know what they did in Pattaya? Oh, I actually have a picture of it. I'll send it to you. So all the bars were shut down, but I have a picture of the following night of hundreds and hundreds of people in bars. So you think, how is that? So here's the catch. The bars started to serve the customers French fries. Sorry, sir. Talk to the police. Sorry, sir. We're not a bar. We're a restaurant. Look, everyone's eating French fries.
Oh, so they're not really a bar anymore.
Yeah, it's really a bar, but they're just serving French fries to turn it into a restaurant.
Okay, I get it now. I get what you're saying.
So, so this is the thing, is that people will try to undercut the system. And this is the thing about Southeast Asia. Corruption is rife, and yeah, that's one issue I'm concerned about, is corruption. Will police just accept payment to allow companies or bars or restaurants to stay open?
Yeah, and that's how it spreads, and that's how. Yeah, I know. It's gonna get worse before it get better. Any last words?
No, that's all. Stay safe, and thank you for all your hard work.
God bless you, buddy.
All right, cheers, bye.
Yeah. All right, that's Liam from Southeast Asia giving us an update on what's going on there. What do we have here? I want to call, what's his name? We got about 7 people call in tonight, which is really good. We had 1 person in the pre-show call in, which was really good. So let's see if, Raven, are you at work or can you talk? I hope he didn't get arrested. Raven, are you there? Is Lord Humongous in? Let's get Lord Humongous then. Lord, there you are. Let's see if Lord picks up the phone first. He's in the Humongous Wastelands.
Hello?
Lord.
What's up, man?
Nada. I'm still waiting on that order from Teespring.
That's fine, brother. No
I'm
big
telling.
deal.
I'm just still waiting. I've been very patiently waiting for it to come in, and I can't wait till it comes in. I was hoping it was going to come in this Friday so I could show off some of the Mike and the Night swag, but maybe for next Friday.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah, we got dumped on big storm, so we got like 8 inches on the ground right now.
Oh, of snow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's why I was gonna go out today and make a store video for you, but yeah. So we're just trying to clean up the snow pretty much. But the sun came out and it's melting away.
So, how's the toilet paper wars in your area?
The store shelves that I've seen. I was just at the store yesterday. They're not getting filled up with like food products as fast right now.
So you're seeing a slowdown on the shelves.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really look at the toilet paper section because I don't care that much. I already got plenty of it. But yeah, no, I'm just working on some hardened copper jackets right now. So that's what I'm up to, making sure the weapons are nice and oiled.
Good. Load up on guns. Bring your friends.
Yeah, I've had all these guns for a long, long time. I got a nice long gun. That's the one I use for like shooting long range. It's pretty good.
Was that the one that Davy Crockett used at the Alamo?
Yep. It had black powder, in it, and a big old ball of lead.
Hey man, that ball hits you, you're dead.
That's it, man. But mercury-filled tips are, that's a one-shot, one-kill too.
Mm-hmm.
If you have poison going through your neck, it's like serious damage.
Yep, big time serious damage. So, how's your health?
Health is good. Whatever I had, that cough or who knows if shit that could have that COVID virus could have already gone through us. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't think I had it, but yeah, it wasn't good, man. Because I haven't been sick like that in a long time. That thing pretty much put me on my ass for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Lord, when I was sick too, and this was the last week of December. I was very sick.
Yeah, I was
very sick.
But I didn't have it. I didn't have any fever symptoms. It was just like a sinus and like head cold type of deal. That it did go into my lungs a little bit, but I think smoking protected it.
Mm-hmm.
To tell you the truth. They tell you not to smoke. All these people. I got something from I guess China was releasing today from another friend of mine that said, don't smoke and wash your hands. And China's all of a sudden found this way to defeat this the spread of this virus, whatever. But who knows, brother?
Who knows? What
else is, what's the tiff with Leaf, man? What's going on with him and the Raven?
I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at the comments. They're going by too fast though.
Yeah. If Leaf thinks he's all that with his $100,000 car friends and all that stuff, he's in for a rude awakening, dude. If this thing breaks loose.
Oh no, but Leaf has been warning people about this.
He has, but he tries to throw all that rich bullshit on everybody. You know what? That ain't gonna help him, dude. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Don't be a stuck-up rich asshole. Because, dude, you'll get taken out so quickly, your head will spin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand. I understand where you're coming from on your angle. I don't know what's going on, right? So I'm not checking the comments too much.
But you know what? The Raven, dude, has probably forgotten more than that guy will ever learn about life.
Whoa.
Seriously.
Whoa.
That's the truth, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta stand up for the truth, man. Dude, that guy, he needs to just pipe the F down, bro. Because there's plenty of Canadians that will probably take his ass out quicker than a ham sandwich on a sunny day.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But I need everyone to be
yeah. Yeah, there's no need to make it all personal, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to be we're all friends here, all of us. All of us have been on this channel for years now. We haven't been here for 2 weeks. We've been here for years on this channel.
Exactly. He wants to be ruled by a puppet queen. That's his deal, But But most Americans, we believe in freedom, not the kind of freedom that our government exports, but the majority of Americans believe in freedom and free speech and all that stuff, and the right to bear arms. They're not going to disarm us here. I don't care what you hear. If you see military troops, National Guard, they're not going to go door to door trying to take people's guns. That's just not going to happen. The military has to have the manpower for one, which they don't, to use whatever stupid weapons they think they have. Americans aren't going to put up with that shit. This whole financial thing is going down, man. It's going down worldwide. It's the illusion. It's the facade. The sheep are waking up, and there will be those that get fleeced. But yeah, I mean, they think they can self-quarantine us and all this crap with this thing. It's not going to work, man. This virus will have to pass through.
It's like stopping the wind. I said this before. It's like stopping the wind, and it's going to. Everyone's eventually going to get. Because, like you said, when you were sick for 2 weeks, I was sick for 2 weeks, and I honestly thought it was my time to go. That's how bad it was.
Really? I wasn't that bad. I didn't feel that bad.
I was really bad. I was making sure my will was getting done. Everything was getting done. I almost thought I was going to go. That's how sick I was.
Right. You know what else is an illusion, though, Mike?
Yeah.
You know what it is? Do you know what it is?
The illusion?
Yeah. What is the illusion?
Tell me.
You don't know? You don't know?
Well, I see a lot of illusions out there. I mean, tell us.
The illusion is the central bank control, man. It's the printing.
I know. Well, yeah. Okay, I thought you meant because I was talking about me almost dying, and you said the illusion.
I heard. But think about it though. Everything you pay your bills with, right? How do you pay your bills? You got to get these credits from these idiots that just print them on digital screens. Mm-hmm. That's why they're suppressing silver, man. That's why silver's gone. That's why you can't get gold anymore.
Oh, did you see the video I sent you?
Yeah, I watched that.
And that video was discussing people paying over spot. They couldn't care less what markets are telling them the value of the futures markets. They couldn't care less. There's people in Europe right now paying 200 euros over spot.
Oh yeah, well this is the same thing. Remember that when China was going through that?
Yes, yeah.
They were paying 30% over spot, their citizens, right?
Mm-hmm. That's when the Chinese government announced everyone to invest in gold.
Right. These centralized governments, they don't want anybody to have any kind of physical or precious metals, especially gold, because gold is like a tier 1 asset. That's what the Bank of International Settlements made it. Mm-hmm. It's a tier 1 asset. So that basically means that if you hold gold, that's like holding banking power almost. And that's what they don't want. They want to keep their little cabal of banks going around the world and keeping their debt slaves and debt servitude. So that's why I think you see all the shelves, and now they're trying to use food as a weapon. Because Henry Kissinger said that one time. He said, control the food, you control the nations. So that's the games they're playing. That's the games they're playing with Americans right now.
Okay. I know you're in Colorado, but are you seeing any military movement there?
I haven't seen anything. It looks like a ghost town here.
Okay.
I think only certain states are getting it right now, like the major ones, like California, maybe Florida, New York.
Are you also seeing? Could you see martial law going down?
I don't think so, to tell you the truth. I really don't. I think what the government's trying to do right now is they're just trying to ask people to stay within their houses for a health concern. But there's a lot of BS going on behind the scenes with that, Defense Production Act and all that stuff coming out. It's going to fail at the end of the day. Americans will regain their freedom at some point. We just have to let the system play out, and it's going to collapse on all the other idiots that have been trying to attack us with our own monetary system in these other countries. The fiat paper, because they all have fiat paper, all banknotes, central banknotes.
Well, Germany right now, especially with the derivative markets there, it's out of control, and especially with them at negative bonds. I mean, who the hell's going to buy a negative bond, right? A lot of companies and corporations buy them so then they could yield against any capital gains, right?
Exactly, but the Germans are not stupid people.
No.
The majority of their citizens have always tried to collect and acquire physical gold because they know all the BS that went down during World War II.
Mhm.
You know, the world's not told the truth about what really went down in World War II and World War One. It's all in the history there. You know, people got to read the history. They got to go farther back to when this whole thing started. It even goes back to
just around before World War One.
Even before that, the crime of 1873 here in America. Washington D.C. is its own sovereign entity, it's its own
country. It's its own. It's like almost like it's a District of Columbia. It's not even part of America.
Exactly, it's foreign owned, just like the Bank of International Settlements, just like the Bank of England, like the Vatican.
The Vatican. It's not part of Italy.
Exactly, but they're all networked together, and people are waking up and seeing this right in front of their eyes. That's what they see. Everything boils back down to who controls the monetary system, because they can't get any other systems of control until they can control that. So as long as America can hold that at bay, and if we have to go through a starving depression or whatever they want to hit us with, I'm fine with that. We'll take it like we usually do. But we won't be ruled. We're not going to be ruled by even our own government.
No, the government should fear its people. Was that Andrew Jackson that said that? The government should fear its people, not the government fear. The government should fear its people, not the people fear its governments.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Andrew Jackson. I have to look. I do know that quote though. Yes.
Yeah, that was a quote. I think it could have been during the Gettysburg Address. I don't know, man. It could have been.
There's so many great quotes out there, but yeah, that's that. I mean, that's all I really got to say is like. As far as Australia and stuff, I mean, I would love to see Canada just get away and become independent. It doesn't even have to be party driven. And same with Australia. I mean, there's just too much of that old system, that old 400-year, empire, the sun system. It's just it's dissolving. I would like to see England be free again. To tell you the truth, I don't want to. I mean, why do they pay homage to a royal family that's not even English?
Yeah,
I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever. That's all I had to say, I think. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to ask?
No, you pretty much covered all the bases, and I appreciate that.
I want families and close local communities to stay together. Get to know your neighbors, even the ones you don't like. You know what I mean? And it's gonna have to. This whole thing is gonna come back down to a zero sum, basically game. It's a fresh start. That's why you have all these other financial guys calling it, like year zero and stuff. Makes sense. It's a leap year. It's almost like, but the system hasn't come down completely. It's coming down quickly. It's just people don't see it. That's all behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, just keep your head up, man.
All right. You take care, Lord. You stay out of trouble, please.
I will, brother.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That is Lord Humongous. He has more arms, or I guess weapons, enough to probably take over half of Cuba if he had to. Let's see if we can get Raven on. If he can't, I'm not sure if he's working. He still hasn't messaged me back to let me know if he's where is he? I got three of his different or his other. Let's see if he picks up and gives us the angle from the Raven. Hi.
No.
Hi.
How's it going?
Are you in an undisclosed location you can't tell us?
No.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. So what's going on? This thing is getting out of it is growing. It is getting bad. Give us your angle. Go ahead. It's all yours.
It's like we're at the beach and you're saying pick up a grain of sand. That's how many angles there are here. That's how much stuff's going on.
Okay, so let's pretend let's make it easy. We got a chessboard going.
It's not easy.
Are we moving our queen and king into protection yet? Or are we still moving our rooks and are we still moving our knights are we still moving the other guys before the? Is the king and queen still protected in this game yet, or what's going on?
We've roofied the other player. That player's passed out. We're cheating. We're moving everything where we want.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty much it. You know what? I'll try and touch on a few things, but my mind is a mental knot I can no longer untie here.
Uh-huh.
I'll throw you. Hey, I listened to you and McChronicle talk today. It was, that interest rate hike they did last Sunday. I look for things like this. They did that 1%, 100 basis point drop last Sunday.
Right.
3 days before a scheduled FOMC meeting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
These guys be a little bit smarter than trying to panic the markets. Okay. Let's get your shit together. You dropped 100 basis points 3 days before a meeting. What the were you trying to do there? Panic the markets into a sell-off? That never did no big whoop for you guys 3 days early. What'd that do for you? Hey, what'd that do for you? We got months and months of pain coming. What did 3 days trying to panic a market do for you? That's a red flag that I saw. That's something that's very peculiar, a movement like that. I was just reading an article earlier that Trump's talking about shutting the markets down next week. All of them. He's floating the idea of shutting down the NASDAQ. Several markets, he wants to shut them down.
Yeah, that was I think yesterday that was mentioned, right? On the USA Today?
Yeah, and all air traffic in the States. And as far as that martial law goes, do you remember when he said, the trade wars? Because this was the beginning. The trade wars was pre-coronavirus, okay?
Yes.
That's pre-trade. The coronavirus, the trade wars is pre-coronavirus, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The trade wars is the coronavirus. That was just the embryo stage of the coronavirus. Beat the shit out of the host. Beat it down, beat it down, beat it down. But they're on timelines here. Everything's a timeline, and we got to play this because, man, you're playing a big game here, okay? So, phase 1 trade war. Phase 2 trade war. That's a great way to start stretching it out to the point where you need it to play out, right?
Right.
So, that's a great way to stretch it out. And this martial law...
they're creating a bit of an aggregation here, right?
Well, the martial law that everyone's talking about, that's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. They'll throw it into a province as they need to hurt the economy of that province or that state. They'll light it up. They've got so much, everything. They've got, they're in the candy store and there's no shopkeeper. And it's a kid walking around taking the candy, whatever they want. They do whatever they want. If they took us to war, which is I thought they were going to do, because if you study history, well, they usually take us to war. And I think you're correct. We could see a hot war, but I don't think it'll be.
Something's happening in northeast Europe. I honestly like of all places on the planet, you would see South China Sea getting hot. You would see all kinds. I'm really feeling something in northeastern Europe, man. Like I really like some of the cell phone images that were sent to me, and just stuff that people living in towns in those areas. And all the military traffic going through. We're talking huge military traffic. And we ain't talking about Humvees. We're talking about big tanks.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about those big tanks. Like, those big Tiger tanks.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. Not in our country. But I have had that train. It's called the Z train. It's all military. But I haven't seen anything. That's just because we have Shiloh. And in Alberta, we do exercises, and they ship it back and forth once in a while. Mm-hmm. Dust the dust off it.
Yeah, and make sure it's all active and working, right?
Yeah, you could probably buy most of our military equipment on eBay.
Yeah, I know. I know, Raven. I know. But okay. Yeah, Canada. I mean, you would think that because we don't have much of a military, you'd think we'd be doing well when it came to distribution of funds to cities and actually running a proper economy. But because we sold out to money launderers and foreign investors, we dropped the ball years ago here.
Yeah, and you said what you asked McChronicle, is 82 billion enough? Not a chance, man. Not a chance. What's Ray Dalio say? The U.S. 10 times the population.
Yeah.
Dalio says $4 trillion when it's said and done, and a possible 1.5 trillion on top of that. So you're looking at 5.5 trillion. So you can bet we're looking at about 1 to 1.5 trillion just for our country. It doesn't matter. We don't get there. We're going to overburden the system. And where's all the money they're promising these people? They lowered that interest rate to 1%. They killed the fixed income. There's tens of millions of people that rely on that fixed income for the interest to buy their food. Those old people on fixed income, they got no more interest rate. So are they getting hungry? And where's all the packages that they're supposed to be signing right away and sending out $1,000 here, 1,000? Where's all the money? Are they lining us up for something here? I'm probably not, but I look at all the angles. I do not trust those people.
Mm-hmm.
Not second would I ever trust anything they say. When they say one thing, it's a lie. Look at something else.
Yeah. That's why now I'm starting to focus on Eastern Europe. I just, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut or anything, or just try to brew things that are not happening. I think there's something happening in Eastern Europe, man. I really do believe. Now, NATO's been doing these major exercises there the last 2 weeks, and it's going... Huh?
I was saying I want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. They're the smart people. They're the people peeling back the layers of the onion. I don't want to sound like a sheep taking the narrative. I want to be that conspiracy theorist. Those are the smart people. That's who you want to be.
There's no such thing as a conspiracy theorist. You know that, right?
Well,
it doesn't exist.
No,
You're just giving your point of view of what you think is happening. There's no conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theorists like...
Truth. It's a conspiracy truth is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? A lot of the people in your room are leaning on that this is a planned event.
Well, yeah. Well, definitely, but like I said before, I think this whole thing got out of hand and they're just adding it to the soup. That's all they're doing.
No. This was in plans decades ago. This was decades ago. This is the big crescendo. Mm-hmm. We don't let George Bush sit in an elementary school reading a book upside down. There's no room for idiot actors like that. We got to have good actors that have experience. Apprentice.
Are you coughing? Is that a cough I'm hearing there, Raven?
No, I'm healthy. I swear to God, don't get the health police after me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? This has been in for decades. Most of the people in your room know that. Mm-hmm. There's a couple that are, they're just like, whatever. You got to read. They tell you in all their literature, we want another Pearl Harbor. They never let a travesty go to waste. There is a group of people that are up there that like to move this world into a certain. There's a group of people that want to move this world into a certain place so that they can rule this world. Mm-hmm. And if people can't come to terms with that, I'll tell you, there's going to be a resistance to this. The people in your room will be the resistors to this. Mm-hmm. They're going to try and force stuff on us. They're going to take away our root. Look at this as like a test run,
Mm-hmm.
So, and another thing, Mike, remember we always talked about them, this virus, take away the virus. All the virus gives them, now they can let their hair down and talk freely about how screwed the economy is, because they all had to be tight-lipped about it before. For years, they had to be, oh no, the cheerleaders, oh no, great economy, best economy ever. Now they can all talk, man, are we screwed? Man, boy, they don't have to keep up that front anymore.
Hey.
And another thing, we were talking about them relaxing certain laws, like the mortgage rate laws and everything, to help make it last further and, easing everything.
Yeah.
In Canada now, the finance minister is putting together $50 billion in uninsured mortgages and collateralizing them into mortgage-backed securities, and then going to be selling them. So they're taking uninsured CMHC mortgages and creating $50 billion in liquidity out of that. Doesn't that sound risky?
It does. Very those are risky. But they've been playing with our pensions in the stock markets for the longest time. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, 65% U.S. is in the stock, and 54% of ours are in the stock market. It's a done deal. Hey, 0% interest rates. What's going to happen to our pensions? Fixed income, insurance companies, they're all going to tank. They're going to tank. The whole system's going to tank. I think people realize that now. It's just, do they realize that these people are pushing the buttons to make it tank? They got to get up to speed here. Sorry if you can't keep up.
Let's take a step back, Raven. Are these people even smart enough to figure this out, or is this just falling into place?
Oh yeah, no. This is, you know what? me and a couple of my buddies at work could have planned this. You give us the money of a nation,
guys,
we'll plan.
that's different. It's you guys. But I'm talking about like realistically. A lot of these people like in power can't get themselves out of a paper bag if a wet paper bag if they were stuck in one. You know what I'm saying? Realistically,
No.
like if you look at some of the leaders, I don't know if they're all scripted or they don't know if they're tricking or treating. You look at Joe Biden half the time, he doesn't even know if he's tricking or treating.
I give them more credit than that. I don't trust them though at all, but I give them more credit than that. Yeah, there are certain people in power, and they don't care about money. This isn't a money issue.
No.
They do not. This is power, control. This is their sandbox, and they want to have all the toys, and you got to sit off to the side. This is all about power and control, and we are going to be their pawns. And a lot of us are not going to be there on the other side of it. I don't believe. There's a lot going on, a lot of articles. Where do you start? Like all over the place, man, everywhere.
It's just it's just like I wake up in the morning, looking at numbers, looking at figures, seeing where things are headed, looking at markets, and it's just wow. Like where do you start with this? Where do you pick up from yesterday? Where do you look at first? What do you look at the virus? Do you look at the economy? Do you look at the shortages? Do you look at the supply chains? Do you look at the governance? Do you look at the continuity of internet still going? We're lucky our internet's still up,
I didn't know enough about pandemics to have it as a viable option for their black swan. I never thought much of it. Like the last one that I really, really came in brush with was when my doctor was trying to convince me to take an H1N1 vaccine, and I told him no, I'm not taking that. But that's it was just a small conversation years ago. I never had that much, thought about it. Hear the odd Ebola story, this and that. Hear a lot about wars, a lot of history about how they take us to war. So I was always on that frame of mind that they were going to take us to war. But then if they take us to war, fingers can always be pointed back at them. Why'd you take us to war? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? This way is perfect. But if you take the virus out of the situation right now, just take the virus away and put a war, say Eastern Europe, right? We're in war. So now are we going to wake up every day and just obsessively look at the body count? Are we obsessively going to look at how the war is spreading from here to there? And watch it if, this thing keeps us obsessed over every little. When I'm looking at websites, there's a little square in the bottom with the COVID-19 death count spinning on the corner of my website. Why do I need to know that? Why do you keep putting that?
Every time I do a COVID video, they always put this little thing at the bottom to actually know what it's about, and don't listen to me. Yeah, are you in your bunker, Raven? It looks like you're in your bunker.
No. Look at this guy.
Oh, is that Rufus?
That's Sarge.
Oh, okay.
Sarge, yeah, 108-pound Roddy Shepherd. Yeah.
Nice. Mike's nice to have a dog like that by your side.
I'll show you something here. This I just picked up. Feel like this. Hold on. You see that, Mike?
Oh, it's a crossbow.
That's a nice one, eh?
Yeah, I have one like that. The same camouflage too. The same camo, everything. Does it have the lighted scope on it?
No. It's called an Excalibur.
Oh, mine. I have one that's with that same camo on it, and it's got a red light scope on it.
Yeah, they didn't have one with a scope, but they were selling out of them quick.
Yeah.
I got the last freezer out of Home Depot today. They had 3. They just said to us, "There's 3 freezers," and then me and the 2 guys there, we all bought them right away. Boom, gone. Mm-hmm. Can't buy gas jerry cans, and looked everywhere for gas jerry cans. Can't get those.
Yeah, jerry cans. Good luck with that. Anything survival mode for off-gridding. Good luck with that.
Fishing rods. I got lots of fishing rods. I picked up a couple more small compact ones.
Yeah, I got
seeds.
3.
A lot of seeds.
See, I have all this stuff. Like I have this stuff from naturally doing things through the year, right? Like I have cherry cans for my cutting my grass, for my lawnmowers. I got we have this stuff. If you look around your own house, you start finding things you could use to survive,
Yeah, you see, you plan on bunkering in. I plan on getting out of town. I don't
Yeah,
think
but
it's
you're
like,
in Murder Peg, right?
yeah. Well, I'm in a decent neighborhood.
No,
But
I know. I'm just saying. But for me, I got balconies with good vantage points. I got lots of land between my neighbors. I'm not too worried. Like and on my street there's like 3 cops and a firefighter.
yeah, your streets, your place is okay. I would be okay in your town. I would think that would be okay.
Yeah, it's
Not
small,
here.
7,000 people, and the majority of people live on the other side of town too. They don't live in the side I'm on.
Well, I hope it doesn't come to that. That's a pretty, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's Hey, look, I said something positive.
Yeah. Woo!
Don't wait for that again. But yeah, so lots going on, but the mortgages they're making easier for people. They're relaxing everything. How people must be living off their credit cards right now. Nobody's getting money.
Yeah, everyone's living off credit cards right now.
The U.S. just broke a record, 14 trillion in credit card debt, wasn't it? Just a few months back.
Yeah.
How much is that going up now?
Oh God,
They know
I'll do a story about it tomorrow. I'll do a story about it tomorrow.
Yeah, and everybody in Canada got to be tapping all their money, eating all their food.
Or
Where's
yeah,
the money from?
yeah, that's people also tapping into their home equities too.
I think that's pretty much already done.
Mm-hmm.
But they're talking people want to get the relief money so they can invest in the stock market. I was reading an article on that.
Wow.
The default their mortgage payments. They don't want to make their mortgage payments so they can invest in the stock market.
Wow.
Because they think the bottom's in. I don't think the bottom's in. I don't think you want to be near the stock market.
We're getting close. We're not the bottom, but we got quite a few percentage points to come down for it to get to normalization, if you want to put it that way.
Look at the whole scheme of things with the credit cards and the auto loans and how many defaults are going to be coming, man. Think of the defaults and everybody. I don't think we get through this financially. I just don't think it. I can't see it. That's too much. And if Dalio's right, and they're going to print like 5 trillion, that's insane. They're going to blow right past their military spending for interest on their deficit, right? Because their deficit, the interest they pay on their deficit's like eclipsing their military budget. They're going to blow right past that, and Canada's going to, I don't know. And I think Australia's printing 28% of their debt to GDP. And I think their GDP is about 1.35 trillion a year in Australia. And which is not that huge for them, but they got huge problems. Everybody's overburdened. This is going to blow. There's just too much pressure, man. And why, they're going to send out $1,000. How long is that going to last? A couple of weeks? And then what are you going to do? Print another $1 trillion? And the ECB is now down to what I think 10 basis points. The Bank of England is down to 10 basis points. Mm-hmm. That's the lowest interest rate they've had since 1694 when that bank opened. They've never been that low.
No.
Low interest rates right across the board. Certain monetary policies are not going to work anymore with such low rates. They're in a position now. I don't know what they're going to do. I think I don't know if they got a negative that blows up the banking system. This is blowing up. This is not getting better. We're not going to go, oh, hey, everything's going to be good. Let's start buying stocks again. Everything's good. No, this is a reset. Kind of like Noah's Ark when everyone got on the ark. This is a human reset, a financial reset. This is a reset of power. This is a reset of the whole world. This is going to be a big reset. And if it isn't, and we do go back to some resemblance of a normal life, they've always got the COVID-19 to blame on whatever happens in the future in the economy. Oh, well, it's because of the 5 trillion we printed. The burden of that is why this is happening. They've always got that now. There's a really good plan on their part. Super good plan. Mm-hmm. I can't find an angle where it's not a good plan. I look at every angle and I try to look for red flags, like where they screw up. Like when it first started and Trump said, oh, the economy, I only care about the economy. And then they told him, no, you better start caring about COVID. Was that all staged? You know,
But because they were getting a lot of word from China that it's not a big deal, it's just a flu, right? Then COVID started really picking up speed. And then after the Italian disaster that's still going on, and now the Italian doctors are no longer counting the dead anymore. But then we have photographs and videos of Italian military picking up in 25 trucks hundreds of coffins every 2 days. We're in a bit of a mess right now, and I think this is going to get a lot hotter before it gets cooler.
Why did Jesse Ventura and Alex Jones find hundreds of thousands of plastic coffins in that field years ago? Where did all that come from?
I have no idea. I remember seeing that there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hundreds of thousands, and those were in different locations in the U.S. You know, I do believe, Mike, they'll get caught. I do believe that certain events will happen in the future that are just going to point that, you know what, this is bullshit. You got what you guys are doing here. This is bullshit. I think some things are going to come out that are going to press a lot of, you know, questions on what's going on here. I think that that's totally something that could happen in the future. That there could be something that happens. But as far as your war, I thought it would have been a war, but I think either Middle Eastern with Iran, possibly.
No, Middle East is finished. They're not playing that card anymore. That card's done.
But if they don't, there's a possibility that they want to push this thing over.
Yeah, but Middle East is not going to fly anymore. That's not going to fly.
You don't think so?
No, I know. Middle East is finished. It's done. Just like when you told me that when we were discussing about that guy getting shot, I said it's over. It's not going any further. Nothing happened after.
Yeah, but that was part of the plan. It put the U.S. in a very nice light to be adjusted.
But what I'm saying, Middle East is finished. It's done.
It separated the U.S. from being the bad guys, right? By not going to war with them. It gave them an alibi. It made them, as everybody is going to reflect back on everything that happened after this happens. How was the economy? Best economy ever. It's all Trump ever said. That's ingrained in your head. That's a psychological move that they've done right from the start. You know, Trump was tweeting in 2011 that China's neither a friend nor an ally of ours, right? He was building an ally back in 2011 that he was going to be going after the trade war. These guys were covering their tracks early, man. I've gone back as far as the early 2000s. You can find instances where, wow, these guys are covering their tracks, eh? They're really good on this one. Really good. Yeah, but you can see it everywhere, but it's not even an option of questioning them about it. You can't even question them about it. Like releasing it between the animal market and the biolab. Perfect location, because we'll argue where it came from. You know, everything was perfect. So I don't sound like a broken record about that shit either. So
no problems. I got Jacob Marin on the line, ready to come on after you. He's going to give us an insight on what's happening on Eastern Europe.
I do believe something's going to kick over. Maybe there could be an event. Everybody here's waiting for it, though, eh?
I'm still in favor of more of a first contact from another civilization, from another planet. I prefer that over all this crap that's going on.
It's like the Twilight Zone out there now. Standing in the lineup, Home Depot today, outside the store, 10 feet in between everybody, all the way across the parking lot. I'm looking around, I'm like 10 feet apart, and they only let so many people in at a time, eh? The whole nobody wants to come near anybody. They're all, it's
Make
so
a video
super.
next time. Throw it up on over here on thing.
I did make a video of that lineup.
You did? Did you give it to me?
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't.
Well, then it doesn't matter. If you gave it to me, then it'd be showing it.
You barely look at my messages once a week, maybe.
No, I check your messages all the time. When you send me something on Skype, I always check the videos or the links all the time.
I'm lost in there. Can you give Lord Humongous my number there?
Yeah, I'll send him your Skype right now.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, because I know you updated your Skype.
Yeah, that guy's full of knowledge there.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Lord Humongous has been on the show for over quite a while now.
Yeah, I see him all over the internet in the darkest corners of the economy. You know what? Another thing, a lot of the big players on the economy on the economy channels there are all coming over to what I think about this being planned.
Mhm.
If people are watching this, that too, a lot of them are saying that was planned.
Well,
But
only time can tell, Raven. Only time. And you know what? Everything floats to the top over time. No matter what, there's always nothing. Nothing can be kept a secret. You know that.
the truth wants to be known.
That's right. It always does. No matter what, it always finds a way to be known.
Yeah. Okay.
God bless you.
I'm off to work.
Go to work.
Okay.
Go pay some bills.
Okay. Hey. Bye.
Bye. That is the Raven. All right, we got to get Jacob on the show. He's going to give us an insight on what's happening on Eastern Europe fronts.
Hello.
Yo, Jacob.
Mike, what's going on, man?
Nada. Eastern, like, am I out of my tree? Throwing out there that there might be some sort of conflict on the Eastern European Russian front, or am I just severely delusional?
Well, I do know there's three countries in particular that comes to mind from my side. There's Lithuania, Estonia, and I forget the other one off the top of my head here. And they're former vassals of the Russian Empire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the Soviets collapsed, this whole system where it was living on the skeleton of NATO and all that stuff, right? They're like artificial states that immediately joined the United Nations and NATO, essentially. So the Russians, who have this rapidly aging demographic, if they were going to make a move on this area, now would be the time. Because in 5 or 10 years, they're going to have a mass retirement like we are here, and they're not going to have the manpower to sustain a large military, right? And they're not the only country doing this, but all of the NATO exercises have been surrounding these countries for a long time now.
Yeah, so I have it here, 4 national battle groups, the 4 multinational battle groups. We have Estonia in the north, we got Latvia in the middle, Lithuania in the bottom, and then Poland further south.
Yes. And even Poland, to an extent, was non-existent for many centuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last time they were... the first time they were attempting their New World Order type of style government in Europe, Poland wasn't even a country, right? And the powers that be were checked out by Napoleon,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they had a revolution. They had a democracy. One of the first powerful democracies of the world was France, and France was not having all these oligarchs ruling what they saw as their backyard, right? So that was the first kick of the cat, and they had a demographic issue at the time too, where the revolutionaries had guillotined all their aristocrats, and they had their young population. It was the opposite of the situation now. They had this massive young population to work for them, so they threw them all in the military and redrew the borders of Europe, right? So a lot of these countries are artificial constructs, and from Russia's point of view, like they used to have 1,000-mile buffer zone between Western forces and Russia,
Mm-hmm.
and now American soldiers can be a 6-hour drive from Moscow, and it's not they're not breaking any rules or any laws. It's part of NATO, right? So imagine being a Russian person raised from the cradle that the Americans are your enemy. Although I don't fully believe that they are 100% enemies. I think on a lot of ways they're on the same side. What NATO exercises for the past 20 years, post-Cold War, have been in Northern Europe because of that, to prop up these artificial countries. Particularly Estonia, because it has all of the water access to the North Sea and everything,
right? Here on the map. Someone's asking me if I'm watching the chat. I'm always watching the chat, people. I'm watching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know you're on it, Mike.
Everybody hear what they're saying, what they're up to, what they could.
Yeah.
I'm here, guys. We're all here, guys. Toby's asking that. We got Timothy in the chat quite a bit actually tonight, and we got Stefan. We got all these people in the chat right now.
See, I used to be in the forces myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the springtime was always military exercise time. and Finland was a major. Finland and Canada were constantly doing exercises at the time when I was in, and this was to repel a Russian invasion. Does that mean the Russians aren't going to attack? I didn't think that they would attack. They would seize a Crimea from the Ukrainians, but they did. Absolutely, they did.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought that they were not capable of doing so. They did. They did it in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right. They were able to insert 30,000 soldiers in like 4 hours into this place, right? Because that's their backyard, right?
This is the Forward Presence Battle Group that they're showing here.
Yes. This is part of the NATO's RDF, or Rapid Deployment Forces.
Yeah,
and this would
then
have
you
to do
Russia here showing its advanced military equipment. Also in this military parade that was very recent.
Yes. They have their Western Command, and that handles the borders like Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. That's it.
Yeah.
And these 3 countries have 1 or 2 million people in them, and they were vassal states of the Soviet Empire for since 1917. Before that, since the Napoleonic War.
Even half Poland was.
Yeah. Well, Poland was not. During that time, Poland was not a country. It was part of Prussia and
Prussia, the Prussian Empire.
That's right.
Sneaked in
Which
through
was
there when St. Peter was building St. Petersburg. They sneaked in through the south, the Prussians.
Exactly right. Yeah. So a lot of people are always thinking on short clocks. We gotta look at larger pictures here, because borders are often drawn centuries ago, right? And this would be a sore spot for Russians. They want their buffer zone back, and I think rather than have them join them willingly or friendly, they would take an aggressive posture if they felt threatened. Mm-hmm. Right? I think the Russians have proved in the past 10 years that if they felt threatened or their allies, that they will physically intervene. Right? Like, they did not think that they were capable of intervening in Syria. They absolutely did, right? And they, unfortunately, the Americans take credit for them destroying ISIS. It was the Russians that destroyed ISIS, hands down. They went in there with their rickety old jets. They blew the dust off them from the Cold War, and they went to town, right?
Yep.
Are they capable of making an aggressive move? Now's the time if they're going to, right?
That's the thing. Everything's on the chessboard. And I don't know why I'm feeling this Eastern Europe. I don't know why. I just don't know why.
A theory I have is that there's many flashpoints in the globe, right? Mm-hmm. Many different areas that are hotly contested, and they're traditionally hotly contested, right? And that whole area that goes all the way down through Turkey and into what used to be Persia and is now Iran. See, Iran's another artificial country, mm-hmm. right? If you ask an Iranian person, they're a Persian. Right? Mm-hmm. They don't say I'm a Iranian. They say I'm Persian, right? Because they were Persians for 4,000 years, and in the past 100 years, not even that past 40 years, they've been Iranians, right? Mm-hmm. And that's another flashpoint, right? But the Middle East thing, we're stepping back because there's no money in it anymore, right? War is all about money, right? It's a business.
Yeah, I'm looking at here a lot of camps here and soldiers talking and just briefings and stuff.
It's traditional in the springtime to do large military exercises in the spring, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that nothing could happen, because it would be the time to happen when all the forces are in the area.
So you're thinking for them to pull something like this off, this would be the time to do it now.
Yes. And there's some distinct advantages that the Russians have that people don't want to admit. And one is the decentralized command and the ability of movement. They're able to move huge amounts of resources around very quickly. And NATO, because we have like 30 different languages, the EU have so many different borders and jurisdictions, they're not able to do such a thing, right? So in a ground war in Europe, the Russians do have a tactical advantage.
Now,
and it's been like that for a long time.
Let me ask you a monetary question. Is Russia going broke with oil? With oil right now, oil is one of their major crutches when it comes to propping their economy. Is Russia
it's like 80% of their economy, right? If they're not broke already, but I think we're all broke.
Oh no,
I
we're
think
all
that-
broke. I get it. But I'm saying, like, do you see Russia like really getting desperate times? Lead to
Well,
desperate measures, or
I was in Russia a few years ago, and I find Russians are misunderstood people. They're very laid back, and they're reactionary people. Like they just want to live their lives, right?
right?
If you can't live your life if you're broke, right? If you try and go somewhere without money and see how free you are, right? I have a feeling that they would not be acting aggressively, right? Whoever has the most to win in a conflict will usually be the aggressor.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So if I feel like if two gentlemen squaring off in a bar or whatever or anything, whoever feels they have the tactical advantage or the most to gain, they're usually the ones that are going to strike first.
Right.
So I suspect the Russians wouldn't be the ones to strike first. They would be the ones to strike last. That's for sure. In that neighborhood, 100%. They would the armies that are there, the militaries that are there, would not be a match. They wouldn't run into any resistance until they got maybe to Germany, because Germany and France have professional large militaries, right?
Mhm.
And them in Britain would be the only way that you could repel the Russians, right? I do feel that this is their spring exercises. This is what my suspicion. Because then you got Sweden, Finland, Norway. They all do this all in the spring because they have such long, brutal winters, right?
But springtime is a great time to step on Russian soil, because you have until the end of summer,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah, this is
you're
exact.
not entering in the winter.
Yeah, traditionally it's called the fighting season, where you fight from spring to late fall, and then you dig in the wintertime.
Right.
And it's traditionally how Western militaries operate.
See, Hitler made a mistake in Operation Barbarossa by invading Russia in the winter.
I believe that was done on purpose. I believe that he had Parkinson's or some kind of physical disability that gave him a short lifespan, and he wanted to get all his grand plans done before he died. Because you could see his 40,
deteriorating fast, Hitler.
Yeah,
towards the end of the
exactly.
war.
So I believe that he was ill, and he wanted to complete his plan before he died, to create some kind of legacy, right?
Right.
The Russians have, like, I think it's Poland at the time, they cut it in half, right? The Russians took half of Poland, and that sealed their tactical advantage because they have all this distance
Buffer zone
to protect
Moscow,
themselves.
yeah.
Exactly. So you want to lure your strong enemy out into the desert, essentially, and have a desert of grassland, right? And that was there. So you can out punch from further away. It's that's when you get into attritional warfare, right?
Right.
So this is the any type of conflict that's going to pop off in that area. Look at it. Crack open a history book. The Russians always have the tactical advantage in that area.
Napoleon tried it. The Kaiser tried it. Hitler tried it. I think even Alexander the Great tried. I think everybody tried to conquer, or even the Mongols.
Well, the Mongols were quite successful because they had a mixture of appeasement and warfare.
Right.
Because the Russians and the Mongols had a long tradition of being friends and allies, and they said, "Listen, we want to take over the world. Why don't you just join us?" So they, at the time, Russia was carved up into like little kingdoms. Most of them joined, some of them, most of them joined, some of them didn't. The Russians really hated the Hungarians and the Turks, and their enemies to the south. The Mongols said, "Hey,
this was the time, Jacob, when the Romans were paying off the Mongols every year, basically in gold, so they wouldn't invade Rome, right?"
That was the Christian Empire at the time, right?
Yeah,
The new Roman Christian.
Off the Mongols, right?
Yeah, that wasn't like they weren't the ancient Romans. They were like the medieval Roman Empire, essentially. Mm-hmm. That empire was based on religion, and they weren't a military power at the time.
Right. Right.
That was because the Byzantine Empire, they split in half, right? Like I said, the point I'm trying to make is a lot of these countries are artificially created, particularly in Europe, and they were created as buffer zones for the Russians to have distance. and they want that back, right? Because the Americans were doing military exercises in Latvia, Estonia. You could see St. Petersburg from Estonia, right? They're that close, right?
Yes,
Now, if you're
you can.
exactly, if you're the Russians and your mortal enemy for 100 years was doing artillery training, within visual range of your secondary population center, that would be a big red flag for me if I was a Russian, right? So I definitely would not want those three dinky little countries, which are basically cow farms with a couple of towns in them, right?
A lot of
They're
pretty
artificial. Oh, of course, absolutely. But like Estonia has 1 million people in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a medium city to most modern societies, right? So is that really the tripwire? Like, and if you're the Russians, you're like, are they really going to go to World War III over that? Probably not. I suspect that they wouldn't.
Okay.
They would probably they would have made a move when they took half of the Ukraine, right? The Crimea is their honeypot, and nobody batted an eye, right?
I think
They
this virus is
allowed
going
them
to
to take it.
create a lot of divide between countries too.
Mm.
It's going to break a lot of alliances up, and it's going to start breaking up a lot of countries. We thought before that a lot of countries didn't trust each other. This is going to get a lot worse in the next couple of weeks.
I feel bad, particularly poor people in Italy now is suffering very, very badly. That's really, really sad.
One thing that's scaring me is because we were using Italy for the last 2.5 weeks as a proving ground to what's going on, and then now Italy is no longer counting their deaths.
Yes. A very good friend of mine who's Italian, he was a photographer, he told me the areas that were affected, the average age of the people that live in Milan and the surrounding area, they're all in their 70s, and all their kids are abroad working. It's kind of like the Philippines, right? So you have this huge elderly community and all these factories where Chinese workers are working, essentially. And, of course, it just ravaged their population, right? Feel bad for these poor folks. And Italy's already had some serious financial problems. Is the worst time for them to be involved in a pandemic, right? It's the worst case scenario for them. All these elderly folks getting sick, limited resources, just perfect storm.
I've been saying this for a while. Do you think that somebody's telling Italy to stop reporting their numbers? I think there is, because they want to calm this down. Do you honestly think I might be right about this? Where China was really, really, and then once Italy surpassed the death rate of China, it made China look suspicious. Do you think maybe there's somebody above that that's saying, hey, okay, we understand these people are dying, but we don't need to know anymore? Could this be the case?
It would probably be their own people, the Italian government, because the Italian government is probably completely overwhelmed. Now, it's all centered around Milan, right? Milan is in the Carpathian Mountains in the north, and it's very difficult to travel up there. There's only like a couple of roads, a couple of airports. It's traditionally like a Gothic area, and then they have a few factories that make fancy clothes, right? And any type of disastrous emergency, it would be difficult for them to get resources up there. And people that are ill, sick, and dying, and elderly, they deteriorate really quickly, and they're probably finding these folks already passed, which was sad, right? So
already dead in their homes.
Exactly. So these infected, deceased people would have to be quickly buried or cremated to limit exposure. You'd want to get these people underground or on fire right away. Because when a person is dead from a communicable disease, their body's just a transmitter. Because their tissues are soft, right? They're just decomposing rapidly. You could actually see a cloud in a hazmat level 4 containment chamber. You can see a cloud of particles coming off a deceased person. Because they're just pathogens just flying into the air, right? So these people would have to get underground. They probably are counting them. They're just not releasing it because we're already panicking enough, right? You've been around. I saw your videos. You're going around town out in a small town in BC, and they're panicking out there, right? That's 10,000 miles from Milan. right?
Yeah.
So I think everybody's panicking enough, right?
But how do we build like models? How do we graph and how do we know without knowing the death rates and without what is really going on without getting numbers? Because if we don't get numbers,
I think
we're
that's
screwed.
regional. Because I think it'll be done on a regional level. I don't think there is a like the World Health Organization. That is a Chinese entity attached to the United Nations, right? They're the ones that are supposed to be running that, right? They were the cheerleading squad of China. Well, the people are getting welded in their homes, right? And they're like, oh, it's okay. You remember a month ago, right? This was all going down.
Yep, we were
They
covering it
cannot.
here on the channel. It was really sad to see how people were treated like animals. That's why I hate the whole Chinese communist, party with the passion.
They had. I don't know about now because I also know I've been to China as well. They're not nearly as wealthy and powerful as people think they are. They're very good at playing. They're very good at PR, is what it is, because they're constantly justifying their existence. Because in China, if the public does not want them there, they'll be gone. You couldn't stop 1 billion people. They can do whatever they want, really, right? And when you're in China talking to these people, that's how they talk, right? They're not really afraid necessarily, right? Just there's something called the indifference in the Asian culture that they have, the saving face and the indifference. So it doesn't directly affect them. Then why bother, right?
Right.
So I think the Chinese government just exists simply for that fact that it's inconvenient for these people right now to overthrow them, essentially.
Well, yes. Now, the United States sitting at 26,747 cases. That spiked really quick, and with the
300 million people,
yeah,
all those cities, all those states, uncontrollable. I knew as soon as it landed in the United States, it'd be off the charts.
Yeah.
It's the freest country ever. You can just pick up stakes and move wherever you want, right? We can't even do that in Canada. We have 3 population centers.
That's it, and we're
Right?
all bought out of them.
Yeah, we're all bought. It could be a blessing in disguise, right? I find that
get the Canadians out of the big cities, and then let's clean it out.
I find that anything on this type of scale, nothing is left to chance.
Yeah.
Right. Every dollar, every pound, every ton of supplies, everything's all accounted for. Nothing's left to chance on that. And I believe that the coronavirus is not a weapon, but it's an opportunity, right? Everyone's
credit some sort of a stupid mishap in China, and then they started blaming it on an animal shelter thingy, and then some stupid food market, and telling people that not to worry, it's under control when it wasn't under control, and it screwed up a lot of economy, a lot of people's lives got affected by this because of the stupidity of not releasing this information earlier. Yes,
certainly possible, right? And now there's people that have their game plan ready, and this was the time to crack it open, right? And I think it's we'll see a lot of changes in our financial system will be coming from what I've seen and what I've heard.
You see martial law coming to America soon?
The United States, absolutely. Canada is not capable of instituting martial law nationwide. They're not capable.
No.
We wouldn't be capable of locking down the GTA, let alone the entire country. It's not possible, right? Toronto has 5,000 police officers, right? There's like 3.5. They're not even sure. I think there's 3.5 million people live in Toronto directly. Get 1 million commuters every day in the surrounding area. 5,000 cops. It's impossible. It's not doable.
No, it's not going to fly. And we don't have a military, like a real military either, right?
Our military is mostly used for political purposes.
Yeah.
Right, we have the capabilities of having a world-class military, should we desire it, but we've gotten away with the Americans paying the defense bill for 100 years, right? So that's our own fault, really. And they've repeatedly warned us about it. They're like, listen, we're going to be busy, right? We're going to be very busy. You're going to be on your own, and we're vulnerable. Canada's quite vulnerable, and we'll also, I predict we'll also see some significant infections here. And we don't have, we're not that type of country, right? We don't have the authoritarian resources
I
to
think
lock it
we're
down.
a lot less equipped than Italy is.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, we are. The Italians have a very large auxiliary reserve military.
Mm-hmm.
Their professional army is not very large, but it's quite agile. It's their reserve forces that will be handling this, right? And they have significant. I think they have 300,000 reservists or something like that. So that's
I think
significant,
Australia
right?
will have a tough time handing down martial law. So would New Zealand.
They have the same problem we do, right?
Yeah, New Zealand.
New Zealand. One thing that New Zealand has that's on their side is they're two islands, right? So they can curtail movement between the two islands. So that's a big benefit.
Mhm.
And Australia is the same as Canada. They have like 3 population centers.
That's it.
And they're very spread out.
And they're
right?
all bought out too by rich investors.
Oh yeah, huge. I know you're very versed on all the Commonwealth markets,
Mhm.
right? I've seen a friend of mine. He's opening a business in the Bahamas, and they bought a hospital ship. So they're already, that's a dinky little country that has like 300,000 people, right? So they bought a hospital ship, and anybody that has any coronavirus is going on the boat, right? I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, because they're just, they're a tiny little country. They don't have the resources, right? But they bought a hospital ship, and so the Caribbean is putting everybody on water if they get sick.
Yeah,
right?
That's a smart move. That's a very smart move,
It's
actually.
a very smart move, right? So they can easily quarantine people.
If we weren't ripping each other apart and for the last 100 years, we could be sending quarantine people to the moon if we had to, technologically wise. But no, we were just so ripping each other apart and destroying each other over the last 100 years that we're still, fighting over this rock. I don't know.
It's like natural for people to become these little dictators when they get drunk on power, right?
Yeah, power.
It must be this natural thing.
Power.
Yeah. I've worked for a lot of large corporations, and they certainly play the game of being people kind, friendly, but in reality, that you have no rights in these giant corporations. You don't have a vote. You have no. It's not a democracy, and executive level people tend to be tyrants because this is it's just natural human behavior, right? But if there's no checks and balances in the way, they just, you just go off on your own. You get drunk with power. I'm guilty of that also. What I definitely see, I definitely know for sure, is the things are moving behind closed doors. This is why they're telling everyone to stay home. They're telling everyone to this social distancing. This is the absolute funniest thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It will do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's just it's just something for you to be mindful of. Mm-hmm. They just gave you this made up term. Now I've been through several pandemics, and no one ever social distancing. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. Mm-hmm. But people are serious about it, right? It gives you a sense of not feeling helpless, I suppose. I go into Shoppers Drug Mart and they're marching us around like it's a military encampment. This is hilarious.
The Shoppers Drug Mart.
They got the tape on the floor and they're like, sir, step behind the tape. I was like, oh, okay. Yes, comrade. But they're doing this to keep you focused, right? It would do absolutely nothing. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. Wash your hands. That's it. This is the only thing you can do. It's a virus that's going to circulate through the population.
It's like stopping the wind. I've been saying that for a long time.
Exactly. Like influenza or anything else, it's going to circulate through the population, and sadly, it's going to take the weak. Right? But that's the way Mother Nature works, right? I do think that this is all an opportunity to reset the financial system.
Well, for sure. Why not? It's a great opportunity, man.
I foresee, because all of a sudden all this money is coming out of thin air. They're printing money out of thin air, and they're telling us that we're going to get all this money now. Mm-hmm. I think this is the universal income is coming.
Yeah.
This is what I think, because we're all going to be out of a job in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right?
All of us.
Yeah. a business owner like yourself, you won't be allowed to go to work, right? You won't be allowed to open your shop.
Well,
So who's going to pay?
I like
You
hanging
know,
out there, man.
I can't. If I got the money, I'm going to come out and visit you there at your shop one day. But
Yeah, one day come and visit me here, hang out, stay. When this whole stink passes, this whole sickness passes, and we can travel again. Yeah, come and visit.
right now, being in the security business, I have more work than I could do right now. So I'm just dealing with that right now. But I definitely know that things are being done behind the scenes, and just because of the clown show you see on TV with our quote unquote leaders,
Oh,
they
our
seem
great
totally
leader.
yeah. He's definitely not in charge of anything. That's very, very clear. He probably is not aware, barely aware of where he is, let alone
So
what he's doing.
you're saying our great leader doesn't know if he's tricking or treating?
Yeah, and he's definitely not in charge of anything. It's very, very clear. You can see when he's reading a speech, the people nodding along behind him because they were practicing with him before he came out. Just like you do with your kid when it's time to go up on stage at the kindergarten recital, right? He's definitely not in charge of anything. But the Canada, because of how decentralized we are as a country, this is going to be a regional thing. So on a local level, we're going to have to look out for each other, right? Because no one's going to come help us. We're not going to. The hospitals will be closed or full. The stores might be. I know they're desperately trying to keep logistics open so we can go buy things. They want that really, really badly.
Right.
So traveling around, you'll see that there's far fewer people. See, I'm just outside the GTA right now. There's no traffic anywhere, but the trucks are still rolling. So this is a good sign. They'll do anything to keep those trucks rolling, to keep the stores open, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good sign, right? What you want to see is when the internet and television goes down, it's going to go down for 10 days to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that happens, they're going to come back on one day, like 2 weeks later, and be like, okay, so this is what happened, and that'll be the clock reset.
Yeah.
Now they did this before on a smaller scale in like Iceland, where Iceland had their currency and everything had been bought out from under them, and a bunch of loyalists came and seized control of their country, and they reset everything. But for about 2 weeks, there was no internet or anything. Nobody could move, right? And what they did is they rounded up all their bankers and everybody and locked them up and redid their currency. I think they're trying it on a larger scale.
Of course. A lot of people are still sitting in a jail cell from that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I still remember that when they were all outside the banks, outside the police stations. They were even arresting the cops, too, that wouldn't go with them.
Yes. Well, the benefit of a country like Iceland is the president of Iceland, you know where he lives. You know where his house.
Yeah.
Because there's 300,000 people live in that country, right?
Right.
So I know where that cat lives, right? So it wasn't hard for them to sort that out, right? I believe the airline industries are purposely being run out of business, and we're being encouraged to stay indoors so they enact their plan. But I don't think it's an evil plan. I think this in the long run it'll be a good thing.
I hope God hears you. I hope you're right about this one, man, because with all this negativity, Jacob, I really hope God hears you on this one.
Yeah, I don't want people to just stand in the dark and stay in a dark place, because you're not going to get anywhere in that line of thought. There are powerful people behind the scenes that are good. They're malevolent people.
Yeah, there is.
And they do want what's best for us. And there are powers that be that are enacting emergencies.
Yeah.
The Canadian border being shut down just in the neck of time, right? 2 months too late, maybe. I have a feeling moving forward after this pandemic, immigration of any kind, anywhere in the world, will be rare as a dinosaur. We won't be allowed to freely immigrate anywhere we want. This is one thing I see.
That could be one too. Yeah.
The European Union experiment, this will be the final nail in their coffin lid. If you notice, Brexit just got out. Britain got out just in time. Now you got Poland is acting on its own, sending soldiers to Greece to help them.
Yep.
You know, the European Union is finished for sure, right? And there will be players coming out afterwards. How, as you said before, though, for a conflict, if you're going to be aggressive and malevolent, now would be the time, right?
Right.
Where everybody,
this is the time to unleash what you got to unleash. If you pull the trigger on what you got to do now, because this is the time.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone's going to invade somebody, this will be the time it's going to happen.
Right.
It's just who and where.
Right.
But there's hot spots all over the world, right? Anything could happen. But I foresee that this will be a good thing. It's not going to be a bad thing.
I hope God hears you. I really do. I hope there's a good light at the end of this tunnel.
I think
Jacob,
so.
I'm going to let you go.
All right.
We were talking for like 40 minutes. Woo!
I know. Sorry, Mike.
I
always get
being
excited.
Sorry for you gave us so much good information. What the heck? Why?
Well, I just get excited because I'm a fan of your show and I'm a fan of your fans.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So
everybody's here everybody's here hanging out. I'm watching the comments as it goes by, and yeah.
Excellent. I'm always watching. I'm here if you need me.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Jacob. God bless you. Okay.
Cheers. God bless you too.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
That is my man Jacob, out east, giving us a little bit. It's like what 3 o'clock in the morning where he is, watching Mike in the Night. Oh, okay, we got Mike Banks in the comments. We got Timothy in the comments. We got Cody Z in the comments. We got three right guys gaming podcast. We got some trolls in the comments telling me to lose my hairpiece. Hey man, I like this thing. It sticks on my head. I could shower with it. I look cute sometimes. We got Supreme Cannon in the comments, of course. Who else we got? W Pizzits in the comments. John23Z in the comments. Hope he's doing all right. Who else we got here? Persuado Scientist in the comments. Ralphie New Zealand, watching us from New Zealand, telling everybody to watch Dirty Money on Netflix. Interesting stories that bruise anger towards bankers, i.e. Wells Fargo story. Yep, that's been on my last channel that got shut down. We were discussing the Wells Fargo money laundering with the Mexican cartels in that channel. That's why, guys, I got to be very careful how I word things, right? How I say things, or the specific topics, and how I kind of go after them. I got to be very careful with how I talk about this stuff, right? Yeah, guys, you guys need to be nice to each other in the comments, guys. Respect each other. We're all here. This is a little underground show we got going on. You know, it's not popular. It's, we just got a lot of people here have been here for years on this chat. You know what I'm saying? Solid Extra's in right there. We got Toby Cooper in the house. Who else we got here? Oh, Atomized Asteroid. Atomized Asteroid saying, "Give me a buzz, brother. I got some news." All right, let's see what he's got, and then I'm tired, guys. I've been here for hours. And then we will probably have a midweek show. There's going to be a raid at shops. Okay, let's see what he has to say.
Yo.
Okay, what's going on, buddy? What do you need to tell us?
Yeah. Just 3 minutes. I've got some news. So the government just released a statement. I found it on Hit 106.9. Statement from New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian. Tonight I will be informing the National Cabinet that New South Wales will proceed to a more comprehensive shutdown of non-essential services. This will take place over the next 48 hours. Supermarkets, petrol stations, pharmacies, convenience stores, freight and logistics, and home delivery will be among many services that will remain open. Schools will be open tomorrow, though. I will have more to say on this issue in the morning. I will update New South Wales tomorrow morning about the impacts on our plans following the National Cabinet. So they're meeting tonight apparently at 6 p.m. That's what I heard on the radio. They're going to discuss shutting down stuff. Goodness me.
So it looks like they're going to shut down even more because I think it was that everybody at the beach partying and they got pretty...
Yeah.
You know,
exactly. That's what I was saying
it's
that
the
to my
last
missus.
week of summer in Australia, right? So...
Yeah. Yeah, it was her who got me onto it, and I was like, yeah, I bet you it's because the government must be pissed about all those people on the beach that Nani was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Nanny, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was really good that she saw all that in person, I believe. Yeah, I actually find that upsetting. It is people like that are selfish, that are doing that. They're going to just make things worse for the rest of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
thanks for the update,
it's the
dude.
same thing they're doing in the States. It is the same thing they're doing there. Like, apparently they're going ahead with a spring break. You know, all the people meeting up together. You know, that's ridiculous. They need to cancel that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, okay. I thought I'd just give you guys that update. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay. See ya.
Goodbye. I see Supreme Cannon still in the comments. Let's get him on for 3 minutes and see if he's doing okay. Let's get Supreme Cannon on.
Mikey!
Yo, what's up, buddy? I wanted to get you on here to wind the show down. Yeah, everyone's been scrapping in the comment section. Are you there? Supreme?
Yeah, I had to put the band hammer down a couple of times. Just trying to keep order. Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here. So what's going on in your neck of the woods, buddy? Are you working or what? Oh, we're losing connection with Supreme Cannon. Let me call him back. Maybe get a better connection here. Oh, it's not even connecting to him. Supreme, can you hear me?
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. So
I can hear you.
Are you working
scratchy.
now? Hello? Hello?
No, we're shut down. We just got done. Hello?
Yeah, you're blanking out for a couple of seconds there.
Okay, yeah, signal's probably getting weak.
Yeah, I'm getting a weak signal on your end there.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Yeah, I intervened a couple times in the comments. It just, it seemed like it was getting a little bit out of hand, and I didn't think this was the forum. I mean, we're dealing with an economic emergency right now. It's not that I don't like everybody involved, okay? It's got nothing to do with it. It just, I figured, okay, well, I got a blue wrench. That's probably my job, so I'll do it. So, no offense to anybody involved, okay?
No, we're not. It's not that.
Love all you guys.
Everyone's freaking out, guys. We all need to, we're a small group. We're not a big channel. This is not like we're just a little underground channel that has something going on, and everybody comes on and kind of, when they can, give their little bit of a spiel of what they think is happening, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's it. I mean, we're here to talk ourselves through this now. Whatever it is, it's happening. Here we go. I think there's going to be a complete shutdown other than groceries and pharmacies shortly. And there'll probably be some rationing until the hoarders take the hint and go home and stop doing what they've been doing.
So how do you feel about the toilet paper bandits all over the world?
Man, I've asked at a couple of stores where it's happened. My little town, we had a bunch of people come from Kamloops to raid the toilet paper and stuff there too. They had to put on a 2-package limit per customer Friday last week because it was starting to happen there too. It was the first time I ever saw shelves empty. They weren't completely cleared out, but there were definitely some items that were missing. And obviously hand sanitizer has been gone for a month. You know what? I asked them, do you have any idea at all what this toilet paper thing is about? And nobody knows. There must have been a meme on a sitcom or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe if people think that the end is coming, well, then toilet paper is definitely one of the top 3 things that get hoarded in the event of civil unrest. So it's you know, I mean, we've got toilet paper money, so why not literally have toilet paper money, right?
I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know if you remember in Zimbabwe that people were using money as toilet paper when they went into hyperinflation mode.
Well, that's pretty much all it was good for.
And
you know, like you're better off.
Signs outside of the washrooms: do not use the money as toilet paper.
Yeah, like that does any good, hey? It got so bad they were literally only printing the bills on one side because it was taking too long to produce them. That's in the end what happens when they start, like if they start with a UBI, like a universal basic income, you know, if it doesn't also include rationing, that's what's going to happen. People are going to be running out, and the government is going to have to print larger and larger denomination bills to get them into people's hands to try to keep the system alive. And that's what happened in Weimar, Germany. That's what happened in Zimbabwe. It's not going to work. The only alternative is kind of, ironically enough, doing what they're doing right now. Shut everything down, call a halt, you know, throw in the towel. And reset. You know, some of the callers, there's something big and there's something global going on. I mean, we had a global banking collapse in 1929, all right, or in the early 30s, really, is when it started to bite. We're definitely experiencing that now, but I'm going to stick with what I said before. Yes. There are elites involved in this. There's bankers, the Bank of International Settlements. There's no question. There's all kinds of culprits behind this. But I think it's like the Wars of the Roses. It's got nothing to do with us little people. There's some elites that are scrapping it out right now behind the scenes.
Right.
I think that there's a kind of a global coup d'etat going on right now.
I like how you referenced the War of the Roses.
Yeah, it's the same idea. You know, it's these royal families. Yeah, the peasants. Just best thing to do is just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. But it would be the same answer. And that's just, and I want to dwell on solutions here. Things above your own pay grade, you can't do anything about. You know, the best you can do is like what Raven has done, what you've done, what Lord H has done, you know, get out of debt, get out of the way of that steamroller. You know, if they do start printing $10,000 bills, well, good news. You'll pay your mortgage off in no time flat, right?
Right.
You know, we'll see what's happening. You know, maybe they'll let people take advantage of that to pay off their debts with inflated dollars, as long as that's what people are doing. The important thing is you got to reduce your exposure to this usury system that we've all been enslaved by for so long. And I think that ultimately, the people themselves. Yeah, you're going to be locked down for a while, but it was pointed out in the comments as well. Martial law is not something that could be maintained indefinitely, and you've got to have the people on side. You know, you can use brute force for a while, but if your proposed global communism, there's no reason to think it's going to work any better than all of the other forms that have been tried in the last 100+ years. So I think. You know, nationalizing economies is just going to create unrest, and people don't need government armories to build weapons. And I don't think there's enough soldiers in the world to put the entire world under martial law. I really doubt it. It was also pointed out, you know, in Canada, we've got 3 major population centers in Canada. We don't have enough troops to keep them locked down. The only way you're going to keep people subdued, or at least keep them indoors while this virus passes over us. I mean, emergency rooms are all jammed. I saw a video on Facebook today from a nurse at Surrey General. Like, it's starting to fill up there. So it's not nothing. It's not just a flu. I doubt it. I don't think so. I think it's something weird. It's probably a bioweapon, or it is one of those things that people simply don't know how to deal with. I mean, we've been saturated with antibiotics and antivirals for you know, since the days of the polio vaccine, right? It's entirely possible it's something we've never dealt with before, right? Yeah. plus, remember too, like when you talked about the Hong Kong flu in the '60s, we didn't have global trade like we have now. Like China was a closed society. You didn't have thousands of aircraft traversing the Pacific from places like this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different world even 30 years ago than it is now. So the vectors to spread something like this all over the world in 24 hours, this was a perfect storm in a lot of ways. Was it a bioweapon? Was it something that was set off in Wuhan? Hey man, I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know. That appears to be where it originated from, or at least where it got going. And there's lots of political and bureaucratic.
They could have announced this a lot earlier and shut down their country a lot earlier than doing playing it down like it was nothing to worry about.
Absolutely, and they should have done it. Ultimately, they did the right thing. They locked the place down. But like I said before, it had already gotten away on them by then. There were political considerations to cover it up and say everything's great and keep it off the radar, right? And then finally, they had no choice but to overreact the way they have. Which at that point, yes, it was the only thing they could do. At least here, we had a little bit of warning. I've been home for this is day 5 or 6 for me. I'm just staying the hell out of the way.
Yeah, I'm out of the way.
I don't.
I'm
care.
here.
I don't care
I'm at home tomorrow. It's Sunday, I guess, and the days mean nothing to me anymore. I just drive down to the shop a couple of blocks away, look around, make sure everything's okay, and then just drive home. I don't really get out there and touch surfaces or anything. It's from here to my car, and then my car to my door at my shop, and then look around and come home. That's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went out to the office on Tuesday to get some of my valuables. We have a chain link compound with video surveillance, but obviously if the police aren't out, that's not going to help much, right? But there's usually someone there every day, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had all the important stuff with me where I am, just in case it does get wild. I mean, we had crackheads and the usual burglars and stuff like that in the past looking for anything simple defense. But if everyone's locked down, that should prevent a good deal of that. You shouldn't need martial law. Yeah, like you shouldn't need, it's pretty rare for us to order people to go home, like a blackout during the war kind of a thing, right? Pardon me. But that might be what it takes, because there's just so many thousands of people that are refusing to take this seriously, and the reason is because you've still got people going around saying it's either a psyop or it's just the flu or it's not a big deal. Well, in Italy, the death rates right now among the cases that are resolved one way or the other, are over 10%.
Right.
Between the ones who die and the ones who
counting their death rate 2 days ago, and that's becoming even a lot worse.
Yeah, I think the Chinese, I don't think we can trust them anymore. Where the Italians are...
They just take what... It doesn't even mean anything. The Chinese are talking, it's like, yeah, keep talking, nobody cares, you know what I'm saying? We got to scrap Italy off our list here, because we're following Italy as a ground zero platform for us to kind of make a model, or create a model of what's happening. Now they said they're not counting their death, because the death rate hasn't gone up at all here on this. So now we're going to follow the U.S. and we're going to follow France, because France's death rate is 562 and 12 recovered.
Yeah, and I mean those are initial figures, okay, but they're scary. They're going to delay those figures by several days. I don't think they're going to update them daily for a while. It's just that if this thing does go hockey stick, then at some point in time they're going to have to be honest. I mean, even during the war, they posted the casualty lists in every town because they were obligated to do that, right? They would probably really rather people didn't see those numbers, but it was their family members that were overdoing all the fighting. So this is something similar. They'll probably let the full numbers out if they need to scare people enough to actually go home and stay there. I don't know. Like I think that if it's part of a quote unquote plan, okay, well, it's brilliant, because it's getting every town is a ghost town now, for the time being. But even if it wasn't, they're taking advantage of it.
I have some congratulatory news. China still hasn't had any deaths or new cases in the last 2 days now.
Oh, well, of course, because everyone's dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know
that's
what's
it. I
going
don't
on
know.
there. I don't know why
I,
they just blatantly
yeah.
lie like that.
Well, it's just part of the culture, not the Chinese culture, but communist culture, right?
Yeah,
Like
I hate
they
communism, man.
they cover up atrocities. Yeah, well, I despise communism. It's a ridiculous idea, but power hungry psycho types love it, right? Because then you can use entire populations as playing pieces and rearrange them however you want. Yeah, I don't like the idea of dangling from strings like that. So for the moment, yeah, they've kind of got the upper hand because we're all at home while they do whatever they want, but they still have to answer to the people about, what about property prices? What about the stock market? What about all these things? This is the thing, Mike, is they've trained people to look at these, numbers, all of these numbers that are going from lower left to upper right, proving that we're still a rich nation and we're still prosperous and everything else. But now those numbers are all crashing or about to crash. It's going to be a political volcano. And we're going to have a lot more radical politics here if they don't either reset the system or if they don't start giving people some direct bailouts. They're going to have to give some kind of COVID relief to a lot of people, or they're just going to have to suspend all payments, mortgage, rent, everything. And I think BC Hydro has already said they're not going to be letting the meter run and charging people interest on late payment fees because nobody can work. That's not going to fly. If they don't keep the lights on and the water running and food in the stores, then yes, we will have anarchy all over the planet. And that nobody wins in that situation. I don't even think globalists win in that situation. But I think that the current guard is being changed behind the scenes. You see the storm is upon us, people, that kind of a thing. I'll be honest with you, even if that wasn't the situation with the entire civilized world on lockdown, I would have trouble imagining that there weren't certain political figures that would not be using that as the perfect opportunity for a night of the long knives. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
add
that
it
would
to
be
the
the
soup.
perfect.
Let it go. It's time to make your
Add
move.
it to the soup. You betcha. Make your move. So I think moves are happening. And I know that that's a feeling, a zeitgeist, if you will, that a lot of people are feeling in the world. We knew something was coming. I mean, we've been beating the drum about it. You've been beating the drum about it for years. Evan has, Steve Suretsky over here in Vancouver, and of course, all the big channels have been talking about it. The problem is they cried wolf so many times. I really think people just got tired of listening to it and just kind of kept it in the background. I've been watching apocalyptic headlines on YouTube videos for 10 years, and it's not like I didn't know that something was eventually going to happen because none of the problems from 2008 had been fixed. They'd just been papered over. But I think that the people in charge of all this gong show overreached themselves. They took too long, and I think this took them off guard. I think the chessboard got rearranged on them, and they're trying to deal with it. But I think that others have sensed an opportunity to take over. And again, I use the analogy of the Wars of the Roses because this is all happening behind the scenes among the elites. I don't think this is something where they're going to be calling up mass conscript armies to go and fight in the world. I think this is going to be over in a month. Whatever it was. And then, as it was also mentioned by a previous caller, we'll just find out after the fact. Oh yeah, this is your new monetary system, and hi, we'll be your new leaders now. And I think globalism is done. I don't think that there's going to be any support for it whatsoever because the people that have been people on the street that were bouncing up and down, virtue signaling about it for years. If this COVID doesn't get them, the economic crash will.
Yep. It's one way or the other.
They're not
we're going to find you. We're going to get you.
That's right. Yeah, everyone's going to get busted out of their comfort zone. Me, I'll be honest with you. I'm home. I've got everything I need. My family is safe, and they're all ready. So so far as they were prepared to be ready. They tell me to stay home and not go be a slave for the man for a couple of weeks or a month or however long it is. Hey, I'll take it. Praise the Lord. You betcha.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna find out. We'll know in a month or so.
Oh,
would say
we've been counting down the weeks here on the channel. We're exactly 2 weeks, 2 days behind Canada and America for it blowing up into a full-blown Italy here.
Yeah, that's right. It's time to get to the storm cellars, folks.
It's moving from Italy, and you see it on the map here. It's moving to France, right?
Yeah.
It's moving its way across Europe all the way down to Portugal. And Portugal's cases are picking up because it's heading from the northeast, from the Alps, all the way down to the Lusitania.
Yeah, it's going fast, and we knew it would do that. I mean, I bought masks at the end of January, for crying out loud. I mean, all you had to do is look at a map. Like, my God, so there's something that you're carrying for 2 weeks and you don't know you have it, and people are actually dying from it. Oh my, that's not freaky at all. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is you might have it be asymptomatic and it might be fine, but if it's just a flu, well, then that means that we lose twice the number of people that we do in a normal flu season. Mm-hmm. I'm not signing up for that. I've got people I know, in my life who are over 70 and 75 that I love, and I don't want to be responsible for them choking to death, gasping for air in a hospital hallway because there are no more beds left. Our systems have been run so long on a shoestring. No matter how much they're lavishly funded, they're still run on a shoestring, and they're going to be stretched far beyond capacity. Mm-hmm. Soon, very soon. Like what's happening. It's already starting to happen in the Lower Mainland. It's going to wind up being an emergency. It will be a crash program. General Motors is going to start making ventilators, and 3M's factory in Minnesota is cranking out 2 million masks per day.
That's good. See,
right.
Like
so
they're using that's what we did during war measures during World War II. They started a lot of factories that were doing other stuff, making car parts or whatever, were making munitions.
That's right, yeah. They told you, okay, we need you to make this, so stop what you're doing and do this. So they moved some factories from civilian production, which is just as well, because these corporations have already screwed themselves. So you might as well let them, pay their way out of the all the stock buyback debt that they racked up by producing the supplies that we need. Right now there's
India has
cases.
this virus under wraps here. It looks like they only have 332 confirmed, 4 deaths and 27 recovered.
Yeah.
So it looks like India is doing a great job, and so is Pakistan too.
Well, I'm hoping they are. Yeah, I mean, just their manner of living. Oh, good Lord, they must have immune systems that we couldn't possibly relate to, Mm-hmm. Most places in the world you go, you drink the water. You or I would be, sick for days. They've been doing it for hundreds of years, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they still, have a questionable life expectancy because of pollution and all other kinds of things. They definitely don't live like us. Okay, but that's their culture, and that's fine. They, there's a 1.5 billion in each country, China and India. So obviously they're able to feed themselves and whatever else. It's still, the thing is, it's so contagious. It might pass through you and it not matter, but good Lord, it's like the death angel of Passover. Anybody who's not immune to it is going to get it, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want people to die. All this talk about herd immunity is like saying, well, we'll send all these soldiers over the top of the Somme, and we'll sort out the ones that are immune to bullets. Right? Like, no, you're playing games with millions of lives. Even the UK was going to do that, and then they did the math and realized that there were going to be several 100,000 fatalities. They backed the hell off that strategy pretty quickly.
Real quick in a heartbeat.
And then in the end, it was probably so they could keep their economy functioning. But it's still, there's a political and economic aspect to it too. If everyone else in the world is locking down, you've got no one to sell your stuff to anyway, and you've got the same debt problems and the same debt, row of dominoes to face as everyone else. It's better to just lock everybody down and get them off the street and try to find a reset button. And that maybe all they're doing is just fumbling for a reset button before everything does implode. Right? Because this big air bubble in the supply chain, there's no point pumping money into people's hands if there's nothing to buy, and there's nothing to buy if production stops. So there's no choice. Anything that we're short on, the only thing they're going to be able to do in terms of commodities is we're going to have to ration it. And it might just be, Walmart says, okay, you can only buy 2 of something at a time when you come in the store. And if that doesn't do the trick, then it'll be like the war. The government will issue ration cards for a while. So you can still get what you need, but you'll have to go more often.
Yeah.
And I don't think after a while it's going to have anything to do with whether COVID is still around or not. It's going to be a COVID, la cerveza. You know what I mean? Because, the UK was on rationing for several years after World War II simply because they were so broke and their infrastructure was destroyed, or it was all switched over to war manufacturing, and they had no capital to realign to civilian production, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So, we could have a delay, guys. It could be several months where they tell you to stay home, where you have a curfew to prevent looting, right? Good God, the problem we have with crackheads on a regular basis anyway, the only way they're going to be able to prevent unrest is if they tell you to stay home, stay in your yard. And once this wave of this thing has passed, or they say it's passed, okay, when the rush into the hospitals has finally died down, then they'll probably say, okay, time for everybody to go out and go back to work.
Yeah.
They can drop interest rates to 0 and send everybody money, and as long as they ration, then there's not going to be hyperinflation. You're not going to be able to go out and dump all your money into one commodity or the other. Mm-hmm. We'll see, right? It's tough. But again, I think my own personal conviction is this is a war among the elites in the background, and most of it is just going to be a few months of inconvenience for us. Yeah. I've heard estimates of up to 18 months the disruption could last. I couldn't rule that out just because of the disruption and the fact that I think this is the end of globalism. I think we're going to have a political insistence on regional. Canada will continue to be a resource supermarket for America, and same as Mexico. Okay, but we'll have a North American trade zone like we already have. China will probably be an international pariah after this if a war doesn't break out. Mm-hmm. But they can trade with Russia. They can trade with Iran. Once the flu has gone by, they can reopen the borders. I think we're going to see a political realignment around the world.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going on.
All right.
So, anyway, that's all I got. Yeah, you should do that, pal. God bless everyone, and look after yourselves. Okay, we're here to talk each other through it. And if I put the band hammer down on somebody unfairly, I apologized. I was a little bit a little shotgun about it, but I care about you all. But let's stay on topic right now. We got a lot of freaked out people out there.
All right,
okay, that's all.
Cannon. We'll talk through the week.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk soon.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Okay, buddy. Bye for now. You. God bless you.
That is Supreme Cannon. I'll do a standalone show with him soon, a recorded show for you guys, going over a few topics with Supreme Cannon. I did one today with the McChronicle. If you haven't seen it, it's right here. It's under my videos here. It's under like second or third video in. Here it is with the McChronicle today. Yeah, lots going on, guys. So on the channel, I'm always pumping out videos. Check it out, guys. Don't forget to join the channel right here. Click the join button. Be part of it. It's not much money. I don't make much on YouTube anyway. You could always throw me a tip on PayPal. You could always shop Mike of the Night swag. Really cool stuff here. And you could always send me stuff here. Show tips. Send the show tips here, guys, please. Send the show tips here on my Facebook. Or you could send me my tips. You could send me tips here on Instagram. You can send me stuff here on Instagram. And if you want to support me on Patreon, Patreon keeps growing for me, so people keep following me on Patreon. Go ahead. I'm on Patreon too. And you can buy me coffee for $1 a month. Yes. So we got Ravi G, Aquarius in the house, Cody Z, Bob Smithers, and Nanny in the house. We got, who is this? Terry Ann in the house. We got TJ Thorio in the house. Toby Cooper. Man, we got all kinds of Ralphie Co. New Zealand in the house. We got Anna Key in the house. Haven't heard from her in a while. I haven't seen her in a while, actually. Three Right Guys Game Podcasting. Who else here? John 32Z, Bob Smithers, again, I think I said that, Mike Banks, Timothy, Jake Moran, everybody that came on the show tonight, Daniel O'Brien in the house too. Guys, thanks so much for being part of the show and being part of the cause. I'm tired, man. I'm really tired. I wish everybody a good night. I don't have the Mike of the Night clip here on my desktop, so what I'll do is... guys, I'm going to give you guys a link to the song. If you guys want to hear the Mike of the Night song, there's Gemini Crew. You can go to their channel. The song is on there. So, heck, why not? Let's just go there right now and play it. Here it is. You go to the Gemini Crew channel if you want to hear the Mike. Where did that go? Where'd you go? Oh, did I close that? Damn. Let's go back to my YouTube, guys, real quick. A lot of people are asking for the Gemini Crew song. Here it is, guys. Let's go to Gemini Crew's right here on the right of my channel. Click on there. And type in Mike in. Just type in Mike in. Oops. Like that. And it comes up first. And here goes, guys.
Gemini King, Mike in the Night, and the Gemini Crew. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.